Please consider becoming a patron of Myth Vision Podcast. You'll get early access to every video, including this amazing one, and you can ask me personal questions, private message me, anything you'd like. Professor Tabor, James the Just, James the brother of the Lord. Mythicists say this is probably just a pillar, but not a biological brother. We can maybe address this. At the same time, though, I want to go further than that simple, typical argument I hear between mythicists and historicists. Did he exist or not? I want to go deeper into the things you've explored on this character, who this man was. Peter's got the keys to the kingdom, but James rules the church and he has to say subordinate. Yeah. Something's up. And I guess what really gets me and most of my audience, whether you're a mythicist watching this or a historicist, I love what you do. Because what we've been told by the authorities, I say the authorities by the authoritarian church about what is true, has a big question mark. I'm highly suspect of the narrative that we have been given. Mm-hmm. Not to say it doesn't work for some people, but I think there's political reasons when you get in the second century why they do certain things the way they do them. Mm-hmm. So tell us who James is, what's his role, what did he do, and then maybe we touch on the epistle of James.
Yeah. Well, let me start with when you visit the Vatican, which I've done a few times, and you walk up the main steps into the center entrance, you have Paul on the right, Peter on the left, these colossal, amazing statues. And they were martyred in Rome, supposedly, whether, possibly. Not sure about Peter, Paul, probably. And you have to ask, where's James? Because this is the headquarters of the Christian church. You got the Pope inside, and he's a successor of Peter, not James. So what happened to James? And then you flip open Galatians, which we've touched on a number of times, and we find that the pillars are James, Peter, and John, presumably John, the son of Zebedee. I've written a lot about James. It's in the Jesus dynasty. It's a major part of that. The title of the book, The Jesus Dynasty, is the idea that there's a caliphate. It's not just a Muslim term. A caliphate means that blood lineage is important for leadership. And so Sunni and Shia are one example of that. But also, how about the line of David? In other words, you got to be of the line of David, or most of the royal houses of Europe, even though there's intermarriage in different ways to get it more complicated as time goes on. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so when Jesus dies, his brother is appointed. And most Christians just reading the New Testament don't really recognize that, or it doesn't strike them with the force that it probably should. And some would not even notice it. But who's in charge in Acts 15? And this is Acts. And Luke plays down the family like you wouldn't believe. First of all, in chapter 4, he doesn't even name the brothers, doesn't even say anything about the brothers. And also, all the way through, he plays down Mary. I've written a book on Mary. It's called The Lost Mary. Probably because of COVID, all the books are back up now. Unfortunately, it probably won't come out until 2023 spring. So, there's going to be a little bit of a wait. But it's because they stopped like 50 books for publication because of politics and all this stuff going on with Trump and so forth. But anyway, in there, I really cover it pretty thoroughly. But Mark has, Mark again, Mark 6, verse 3. Jesus is the son of Mary. And when, that's another subject, like who's the father, but son of Mary, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judah are his brothers. Matthew has that as well. So these brothers are here and they're mentioned. So Luke knows they're there, but who's this guy that stands up and says, my decision is? I mean, that's huge. And Paul has to go see him to kind of get clearance on things. So we get.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you gotta try Kachava. Kachava is the world's healthiest all-in-one meal shake. It's made with over 70 plant-based superfoods and nutrients.
more outside the New Testament, but Paul does say, he names him first. He said, I didn't see all the apostles, but I saw James, the Lord's brother. Okay. I think they're biological. If they're Mary's kids, it's the most obvious interpretation. I think most scholars think that. But because of sexuality and Mary needing to be a perpetual virgin, which is very non-Jewish, by the way, have a baby and then never get married, never have sex again and have kids, violates the first commandment of the Torah, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. So the Western church says they're cousins. They're Joseph's brothers, Clophas's kids. And the Eastern church says they're Joseph's kids from a previous marriage. He's a widower. So they'd be like half brothers, but not really even half brothers because Joseph's not Jesus' father. So they're just like household brothers. It's even, I guess, is that step brothers? Yeah, I guess that would be step brothers. Anyway. So, but if we look at other sources, you begin to see that the idea of biological, I think, is pretty strong. You can read the book and judge it yourself. But I think he's very important. Now, we get things like the Gospel of Thomas. The disciples ask, whenever you leave us, who do we go to? Go to James the Just, for whom heaven and earth have come to be. Now, that's a Jewish expression. It refers to a group called the Lamed Vavnik. They're the 36 righteous, because 36 is one more than, like 70 divides in half, and then you have 1 plus, so it's the majority of the Sanhedrin. So there develops within mystical Judaism this idea that as long as there's 36 righteous people on earth, God won't destroy the world, because that's enough. So for whom heaven and earth came to be as a way of saying that he's one of the pillars, not just of the church, but of the world. He's very righteous.
Keeps the world from being
destroyed, because it's back to Abraham. Like, what if there were 10? Would you? Oh no, if there were 10 and they couldn't even find 10. And it's also in Malaki, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. And the word curse is karam, utter destruction. Malaki, it's the last verse of the Hebrew Bible, in the prophets at least, not of the Hebrew Bible, which ends in Chronicles. But anyway, so I think he's a brother. Jesus grew up with him. We don't know a lot about him. Did he believe in Jesus at first? Did he come later? He does get an appearance, which is very important, but we only know it from Paul. Notice, Gospels hardly even mentioned. Luke, not at all, really, in the Gospels. And then, yet we get Paul. He appeared to Peter, the apostles, and so forth. He appeared to James. So he gets an appearance. Maybe that's when he decided, my brother is the one. But anyway, then we get lots of later sources, Clement of Alexandria, Clement of Rome, Irenaeus. They all talk about, and the leadership was given over to James. It's pretty uniform. I give all the best book, the best, Eisenman's is the thickest, most thorough study. I want to give him credit for pioneering Jamesian studies. But the best book for people that just want to get an overview would probably be John Painter, with the brilliant title, Just James, meaning it's just on James. And it's a wonderful book. And he takes a lot of Eisenman stuff and other material and presents it. But those are the two books I would recommend on James. And then there's other books. Neusner edited a book on James. James has become big.
I wanted to find the best way to make money online. And that's when I came across a successful internet marketer.
Big now, I remember when I started this stuff 25, 30 years ago, it's like people, James who?
Right.
And James has actually got into the public now because of the ossuary.
This is a question about James I'd like to ask you. Eisenman has a thesis about, or he proposes Stephen's stoning an axe is kind of a secret cover-up, if you will, of James. Yeah. What do you think about it?
I don't want to take a position on the way characters get represented again and so forth, because it's too convoluted an argument. but I do think he has shown these parallels and themes that didn't just come out of nowhere. So was there like not a historical Stephen, but it's really talking about James. But we do have in the Clementines, the Pseudo-Clementines, and that's what he's talking about, especially the Syriac version that we now have, a reference to James about this time, 7 years after the crucifixion, getting thrown down on steps and almost left for dead, but he recovers, and then he later dies in 63. So we have, this is where he's developing it. And I certainly am open to those ideas that don't think you're reading Acts and you're getting like, oh, this is the straight historical. I call that the master narrative that's taken over the world. But that's why people are saying James who, because you're reading a guy that basically deep six James, and therefore, you don't know much about James. So what do we know? Well, I'm pretty extravagant. I think Eisenman might agree with this. In fact, I think he might have, maybe he does say this. Yes, I'm pretty sure he does, thinking back, but I would agree with him. James is the beloved disciple in John, but very disguised now. But the one to whom Jesus puts his mother, or into whose care Jesus puts his mother. The Zebedee idea is crazy. He's a fisherman. There's nothing good ever said about Zebedee. I think he's rebuked twice by Jesus in the Gospels. One is when he wants the position on the right and left hand with his brother. And the other is he wants to burn a village that didn't accept them. And Jesus says, you don't even know what spirit you're of. So this image of the Zebedee. Now there's another John the Elder, that is this like love one another guy and so forth. And could be, we think there might be two Johns. That's what Eusebius says, but that's another subject. Anyway, I think James is a beloved disciple. That would mean that he's at the Last Supper, and we have Ebionite sources that put him at the Last Supper. He's very important. Eisenman says this, and I agree with him. If you want to understand the early Jesus movement, go to James the Just, and he's going to give you the clue more than Paul is. I'm talking about before Paul.
Yeah.
And therefore, we didn't just lose a character like, oh, well, we don't know much about James. We've lost this whole ethos that he represents. And yes, a lot of it's reflected in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's just a way of thinking about the redemption, about salvation, about the world, about the future. And it's not this dualistic Pauline cosmic thing. It's much more on earth as it is in heaven. The earth is important. The earth is the place to be. So he's important. The letter, look, everybody says it's good Hellenistic Greek. A semi-illiterate or even literate person like James, a Jew from the first century, couldn't have written it. But when you read the themes of James, I find it quite striking that he only refers to Jesus twice. And if you take those references out, the sentences read perfectly well. Like, hold not the faith in vain. If a poor man comes into your assembly, it says, hold not the faith of our Lord Jesus in vain. Well, that's the faith of the prophets. That's the faith of the Torah. That's
product drops when done right can result in traffic spikes and
and then he mentions him in verse 1. And the rest he does it, never even mentions Jesus. Nothing about the blood of Jesus, nothing about the cross of Jesus, no Pauline themes whatsoever. And whether he's addressing Paul or not about the faith and works, he's trying to say two things: that forgiveness is given by God all the way through the Bible. That didn't start with Jesus. Jesus even said that with the two men who went up to pray in the temple. The humble one who repented went up justified. He's not a Christian. You turn to God in prayer. Read Psalm 51, David's prayer. It's nothing about Christianity. You turn to your Creator, repent with all your heart. That's the piety of James. And have you noticed that a lot of the ethics are right out of the Sermon on the Mount, or Q, the Q source, like swear not at all, and don't do this, and don't do that. And so I think it's probably our closest reflection It is apocalyptic. The judge stands at the door. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And the judgment's coming. But notice it's going to be on people that are not paying wages to their workers. You see, it has kind of a different
Political, earthly.
social, earthly thing. So I love the book. I think it might be our last chance to glimpse maybe some kind of way of thinking that survived from the James movement. But I can't prove that James, the historical James, wrote it. I love the way he addresses the 12 tribes, though, because he apparently feels that if the 12 are going to sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel, then who's going to be the main guy in the middle? You say, well, that would be Jesus on earth. Who's the representative of Jesus on earth? Seems like he's saying, I'm James. I'm writing to the 12 tribes. See? So
now, real quick, the 12 tribes, because we only got like 1 minute, 2 minutes. How do you define that? Because there's different people who define that differently. But do you think that's the Jewish diaspora, that the 12 tribes he's writing to? Or do you
broader? He probably has
think like a new constituted.
Just he's well aware of the prophets. They've been scattered among the nations, and he probably believes, like Paul, they're coming back through now that the Messiah is here. He's Isaiah 11. You mentioned it. He's going to regather the tribes, and he's going to gather the nations too. He's going to be assigned to the nations to bring righteousness. The nations are part of it. You can't leave them out. But you have to have all Israel saved first.
Right.
Now, whether James would use that exact language like Paul, I'm not sure, but he's got some idea. You can't read the prophets without thinking that God has to reconstitute Israel, even if Israel's broader or defined more broadly, maybe not so ethnically, because even the Jews, after all these years back then, it's not like everybody could show. Plus, look at all the foreigners that married into in the Hebrew Bible. Yeah. Joseph married an Egyptian. Moses married a Ethiopian at one point, a Cushite,
and that was okay unless you go to Ezra, but that's under a specific political situation that you don't paint that everywhere. But there's some people who do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, I hope that helped.
Check out this VERBO.
Oh, man. Michael, they're your cousins.
Look at me. You're right.
Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard, family. Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard. All praise to the Creator, the Most High. Forever live the teachings of our mighty Messiah, Yahshua, HaMashiach, in the heart and minds of all you brothers and sisters. Bless up. All praises. All praises. Good to see y'all in the building. DC Sniper, I sent you the link. Go on your email and click on the link. Come on up in here, my brother. Blessings. I can be heard. Okay. We here to work. Y'all see what it is, Nazarene edition, part 82. All praises to the Most High. All right. James the Just, Chief Bishop of all the camps, all the churches, all the assemblies in Yahshua the Messiah. Yes, Yahshua left structure, order. Yahshua, Yahweh, Yahusha, Yahush. I've heard all the different names that everybody, argue about. This ain't what this is. We ain't here to argue. All right? We ain't here to argue at all. We're here to simply say that, just like the video, Dr. James Tabor goes into how, the movement dealing with the Messiah is a caliphate. Not on an Islamic movement, but its blood leadership is based off blood being related and all that. You dig? So, yeah, that was very powerful right there. And it's a reason why we don't know anything about James or Yaakov. Hebrew name Yaakov HaZedek. James the righteous or James the just. You dig? It's the reason why we don't know a lot about that. That's the conspiracy. You understand? There's an agenda at play for that. All right, so we're going to get into some of that today, most high willing. DC Sniper, I already sent you the link. If you ain't ready now, whenever you're ready, just click on the link and come on in. All right? All right, first order of business. We're going to get into the book of Acts, all right? And we're going to roll this thing on down. We're going to show you the structure, the leadership. Because without order and without leadership involved, then guess what you got? You got chaos. You got anarchy. You understand? So the order and the structure is very, very important. And there's a reason why hardly anyone knows about James the Just, Yahshua's biological brother. The class we did yesterday showed it was 7 children. 7. 5 brothers and 2 sisters. 5 boys and 2 girls. All right. James was the Messiah's younger brother by 2 years. All right. But look, we even gonna whiff past him in Acts. Dang, there he is right there. What's going on with him? All right. And then once you understand him and his understanding and what's being taught, not just through the scriptures, but even historically, then you can see, like, hold on. Somebody else is doing something different. All right. So we're gonna get into the doctrine of reserve today. We're gonna get into Peter's letter. Shimon Kephah, or who you know is Simon Peter today, his letter to James after the death of Messiah, and the structure that was set up in order to preserve the doctrine, the Nazarene doctrine. They put basically a system of a vetting system. You understand? Because you can't just believe anybody that walk up and say Shalom, folk tribe, static attic. Oh, brother Shalom, we family. No. They had to vet everybody. You understand? Remember, what's being said goes against the Roman Empire. All right, so more then than now, you can really be killed because of what you believe. All right, so they had a vetting system in place. So we're going to get into some of that today. We're going to identify James again some more. If we got time, we can get to some of these historical, so we can get to some of it. Hold on for a second. Show you. And we got, man, that's a good one to get to. Get your wheels turning. All right, Robert Eisman, James, the brother of Jesus and the Dead Sea Scrolls, Volume 1. What that say? The historical James, Paul the enemy, and Jesus' brothers as apostles. Wow. You mean to tell me this thing blood related? Really? Then also got the anti-Nicene Fathers, Volume 1. Anti meaning before the Nicene era. So the quote unquote church historians going from the 1st century all the way up to the 4th century. All right. So we've been had this too, but I'll give y'all some of the people who's going over in there. All right, these are the anti-Nicene Fathers. Look what we got on there. Clement of Rome. All right. Matthias, Polycarp, Ignatius, Barnabas, Papias, Justin Martyr, and Irenaeus. See? So we get into the history. All right. All these men you see on this list is between the 1st, 3rd, or 4th century. All of them. So from the zeros, 0 to 99 is century 1. 100 to 199 is century 2. 200 to 299 is century 3. See that? So we look in here and we see that the gospel of the Nazarenes is being quoted by your boy Papias down there. 3rd from the bottom. All right. Clement of Rome. We about to go into some of his work today. Anti-Nicene Fathers, Volume 1. All right. So we show y'all everything everything we got. Easy work. Y'all catch the DC Sniper in the back. I'm about to click him on in, bring him on into the chat. We're going to chop it up and we're going to throw down. All right. Abundant blessings to all y'all in the building. I see y'all in the building, though. John Kidd, Shalom. All praises. Ima Ahubah in the building. Set apart living. Bless her, Ima. NehemiYAH, my Barak, the beloved elder in the building, say it ain't so. Creator gang, baby. That's right. Jerry Manuel, my beloved sister. Shalom, shalom. Abriyah, my beloved indigenous sister. Bless up, bless up. Tillman of Yehudah, SEAL Team 12 in the building. 144,000. Tillman of Yehudah, bless up. Watchman Baruch, OM Dub. You know, I always called you OM Dub. You know, OTM, but you know, I always called you out the mud. Out the mud, Watchman, baby. You dig? Good to see you in the building, King. Bless up. Reward her double. Bless up. Shalom. Yeshayah, Ben Israel, my dirty South brethren. Bless up. Yamai, shalom. What's the word? What's the word, Hebrew? YAHWH'S, Dread, Nazarene in the building. My San Diego, my Cali brother. Bless up. Bless up. The big homie. You already know the big homie. The big homie been starting stuff. All right, so NehemiYAH driving. Okay, he ain't gonna have too much time to mess with us today. The big homie outside, though, boy. RJ Israel, Yahoo, Bezel, my beloved A-Town brother. Bless up, Bezel the Israelite. You and the fam. You and the fam. Tell your fam I said shalom. Imai Robbie Dobson in the building. Yahoo, Irish Stevens, bless up. Robbie Dobson, bless up. Yael, bless up. Joseph Evans in the building. What up, my beloved brother, bless up, man. Abundant blessings to your family. And may the angels of the Most High continue to guard my little niece, brother. Believe that. All right. Mikael Gabor Ben Yehudah. Shalom, family. Bless up. Bless up. What's the word? Roddy Rod in the building. Bless up. Shemayim Badyah. Venetria Shalom. My East Side Rider. Okay. All right, let me let my brother DC Sniper in. Bless up. Let's bring him on in. Let's work. What's the word, DC Sniper?
What it do? What it brew? Shalom family. What's the word? I'm in here eating some of this y'all can't see some of this Nazarene food. Yes, sir. What it brew?
What's up, man? We here to work. So look, I'm gonna go first and we're gonna jump off. You remember yesterday we went into Acts and showed the qualifications of being an apostle. You had to know Yahshua. You had to witness him going in and coming out from amongst the apostles from the beginning of his ministry to the moment he was taken up. If not, then nobody outside of that criteria can be an apostle, including Paul, all the way up to this new phenomenon, this Negro named Geno Jennings. He's not an apostle either, according to the very Bible that we read. All right, the Bible, in order to be an apostle, according to the apostles ordained by Messiah, you had to witness him come in and go out amongst them. You had to be a witness of his ministry, starting from his immersion by his cousin all the way to him being taken up. If you don't fit that, then you're not an apostle. You can be a self-proclaimed apostle, but you're not an apostle according to Mashiach. You understand? So we ended with that. We're going to go now to Acts 15. Acts 15. All right, we're going to go there. And let's go ahead and throw down. We're going to get into some doctrine of reserve today, too. And I was hollering at my brother YAHKI, the DC sniper, earlier. And I suggested this just be an ongoing thing because this is not information that you can just bring out in one sitting. You understand? So I suggested to the brother, I mean, y'all can weigh in and give him your thoughts as well, but I suggest that this should be an ongoing thing with me and this brother when we go into the history. You know what I mean? Dealing with the Jerusalem Assembly, the Jerusalem Church, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? The camps in Mashiach. So what y'all think about that? You know what I mean? Let another brother come on here and we chop it up about what we got going on, what we done researched, what we done found out. You understand? So if y'all agree with that, let me know. Yay and nay in the chat. But bro, I think we got a good thing going, man. Talk to me.
Hallelujah. You know I'm with it. I'm moving however the spirit will have me to move and whatever it will have me to do. I'm just a servant, baby.
That's right. We here to work, man. We here to work and we gonna work. All right, we here to work, so we gonna work. That's what we here to do. All right, first we're gonna go to Acts 50. Let me know if y'all can see that. Matter of fact, hold on.
Yeah, zoom that thing in.
Hold on. Let me go like that.
Oh, look at the head.
All right, can you see it? Can you see that? Hold on, let me zoom out. Let me know if y'all can see it.
Yeah, that's good,
okay,
bro.
That's good. Cool. Now, look, a lot of y'all may have not known what my brother was talking about yesterday, YHWH'S. He kept saying the council at Jerusalem. The council at Jerusalem. All right. This right here is Acts the 15th chapter. This purportedly is the first council at Jerusalem. All right. Paul is finally about to go check in. He has to go check in with the apostles, mainly the chief bishop or the top apostle, which is James the Just. History knows him as Hebrew YHWH'S, James the Righteous. It just so happened to be blood related, you understand, to who we know as Yahshua the Messiah. If y'all don't know what we're saying, go back and watch part 1 that we did yesterday. We even named the sisters that he has, Lydia and Asiya. All right. So it was 5 sons and 2 daughters born to this union. All right. This was a family. All right. A dedicated family, a revolutionary family. They even was blood related to who we know as Yahuchanan the Immerser, John the Baptist. Blood related. You understand? And it's ironic that all them brothers met a violent end. That's just ironic to me. You understand that all of them met that end like that? Why? Because they was teaching render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. Come on, man. It's something deeper. You understand? So we about to get into this and show the council at Jerusalem. Acts the 15th chapter. All right. And just to give y'all a background into what's going on, this is what's basically going on. There's a disagreement amongst the movement. All right. There's a big disagreement about circumcision. All right. Gentiles, whether they be Israelites living as Gentiles or physical Gentiles. Okay. Who hear about the greatness of Yahshua and his teachings. You understand? Understand the greatness of the kingdom of the Most High and want to follow the way. All right. Do those Gentiles, grown men, need to be cut in the flesh in order to be received into this everlasting kingdom that we all be talking about? These are the topics that came up 2,000 years ago. Right now, you had a faction of Messianic brothers that was like, yeah, and we'll cut you down if you ain't. And you had more moderate brothers who was like, look, I see what the other side is saying, but we still stand on what it is we commanded. Then you have those that was like, it ain't even needed. These are the disagreements and debates that kicked off 2,000 years ago before there was ever any one of us. All right, so that's what we're dealing with. That's why this council was called. It was called because of circumcision and dietary law. This is what it was about. All right, so being that we really ain't talking about too much circumcision, we're going to jump down. We're going to get right to the point that we trying to nail in the coffin with, all right? So we're going to go right here and start where it says James's judgment. Acts 15 and 13. Now, remind you, y'all, this is a council. This is court. Anyone that got the authority to bring any type of judgment is in charge.
Yeah.
Right? That ain't just you standing up saying my judgment is this or my decision is this. No, if a man got the authority to render judgment, that man in charge. All right. Period. Now remind you, there's great men in his presence. You got Peter there. You got Paul there. You got Barnabas there. You got the other apostles that's there. So it's great men in his presence. So for James to stand up amongst all these great men and give a judgment, meaning James is in charge. That's what that means. It means he's in charge. Okay, what's up, son?
Yeah, okay, they're subservient to James.
Okay, make sure. Okay, they got you. Handle your business. All right, I hear you, but sure, close the door. Make sure you don't come back in there.
Little short.
Y'all already know what time it is. You dig? So we're gonna go right here and show you that James is. You know what? Hold on. Before then, let's go to Acts 12. Let's back up.
I'm about to say we must be going to 12.
Yeah, let's go to 12. We got to go there first. Before we even do this, let's go to Acts 12 first. Let's show that. All right. Start at verse 1, and we're just going to read down. We're going to flow through that. All right, we're going to read down to like verse what? 15? 17. 19.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all good. We all good. Let's get there because the people need to see what's happening here. And then we'll jump over to Acts 15.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
You can hear me good? All right, hallelujah. All right, Peter's arrest and deliverance. This is Acts 12:1. Now, about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword.
All right, stop right there. That's not the same James that we're talking about. That's why I said the brother of John. That's not James, the brother of Yahshua. That's James, the brother of John. All right, go ahead.
And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
Now that should be problematic anyway. If we're dealing with Easter in the English written there, we all know it's supposed to be Passover. And later translations came and corrected that. That's one example right there of a tampering, but it's all good. We ain't here for that. But just to show you, Easter is written a pagan holiday. A pagan observance is written in the KJV, Acts 12:4, Easter. Now, brother's gonna say, bro, that it simply means unleavened bread, but you would have never known that unless you had a concordance. You see what I'm saying? If you reading that said Easter, that means a scribe looked at the word for Passover and consciously wrote Easter down.
Fact.
All right, but that's a whole nother topic. Let's keep flowing.
Verse 5. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto Yah for him. And when Herod would have brought him forth, the same night Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains. And the keepers before the door kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Most High came upon him, and a light shined in the prison. And he smote Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, arise up quickly. And his chains fell off from his hands.
So we're dealing with supernatural.
And the angel said unto him, gird thyself and bind on thy sandals. And so he did. And he saith unto him, cast thy garment about thee and follow me. And he went out and followed him, and wist not that it was true which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. And when they were past the first and second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leadeth unto the city, which opened to them of his own accord. And they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. And when Peter was come to himself, he said, now I know of a surety that the Most High have sent an angel and have delivered me out of the hand of Herod and from all the expectation of the people of the Jews.
Yeah, Yahudim, you did. But notice Herod. Notice that Herodian. Notice that because there's a Herodian plot to end this whole Nazarene understanding that goes back 2,000 years. That's why it started off with Herod vexing the believers, vexing the assembly, vexing the council that James is bishop over. You see that? Like historically, them cats is the ops.
Facts.
And all connected to them. Those cats are the ops there. The whole Herodian dynasty.
And wait till y'all find out who's kinsman to that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, look. Hey, according to his own words, he's kinsman, huh?
Yeah, facts.
Blood related. All right, go ahead.
And when he had considered the thing, he came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark, where many were gathered together praying. And as Peter knocked at the door of the gate, a damsel came to hearken, named Rhoda. And when she, I thought that John said Rhonda, I'm tripping. And when she knew Peter's voice, she opened not the gate for gladness, but ran in and told how Peter stood before the gate. And they said unto her, thou art mad. But she constantly affirmed that it was even so. Then said they, it is his angel. But Peter continued knocking. And when they had opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. But he, beckoning unto them with the hand to hold their peace, declared unto them how the Most High had brought him out of the prison. And he said, go, show these things unto James and to the brethren. And he departed and went into another place.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there. Notice right there. Peter was told by the angel, go check in with James and the brethren. You see that? That right there shows you, all right, well, James must be over Peter then. What you mean go check in with him? Go show these things unto James and to the brethren. Who is James? And why we ain't never heard of him for the most part? It didn't say go show you these things unto all the brethren. It specified James specifically, then the brethren.
Called them out.
Called him out, right? All right, so let's
right.
jump over to Acts 15 then. That's it for that. Let's jump on over to Acts 15. Go over to Acts 15. Who is James? Who is this mysterious Yaakov? Who is he? Who is he? All right, we know we at the Jerusalem Council, right? The same body of believers that Herod was persecuting. All right, now watch this. Now we get into, now Paul and Barnabas are declaring what they are seeing out amongst the Gentiles. All right, now James got to stand up and give a judgment or a ruling, because guess what? They all are commanded to teach the same thing. That makes sense, don't it? You got to teach the same thing. So in order for your teaching to be validated as authentic, handed down from the Almighty to Yahshua, to the head apostle in charge, it got to be validated by James. Has to.
Facts.
Other than that, there's confusion in the tank. All right? Let's get some of this, my brother. Let's work.
James' judgment. And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, men and brethren, listen unto me. Simeon hath declared how Yah at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written, after this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Most High, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Master, who doeth all these things. Known unto Yah are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which come from among the Gentiles, which from among the Gentiles are turned to Yah. But that we write.
Hold on. Right there. Notice what he says. My sentence is, right? And so for anybody that think he talking about a whole bunch of words properly spaced apart with a period at the end, let's go ahead and get the definition, brother. What is a sentence?
There's probably somebody out there who will use that too.
Yeah, you know, man. Hey, man, sometimes our people be tripping, man. That is it, man.
Oh,
Let's get
man.
it. What is this? Dang,
Strong's G 2919, Krino.
Okay, so right here, KJV translates Strong G 2919 in the following manner: judge. So James is standing up in the place or acting in the capacity of a judge at this point. All right, my sentence is, or my determination is, or what is it? To condemn, go to law, call in question, esteem, miscellaneous, outline of biblical uses, to separate, put asunder, to pick out, select, choose, to approve, esteem, to prefer, to be of opinion, deem, think, to be of opinion, to determine, resolve, decree, to what? To judge. To judge, to pronounce an opinion concerning right and wrong, to pronounce an opinion concerning right and wrong, to be judged, i.e. summoned to trial, that one's case may be examined and judgment passed upon it, to pronounce judgment, to subject to censor of those who act the part of judges or arbiters, in matters of common life or pass judgment on the deeds and words of others. Look at this. Look at this. To rule, to govern. This is letting you know the authority that James the just has. When he says my sentence is, look, this is my judgment on the matter. You know how to judge, pick up the gavel, order in the court. Similar thing. When he stood up, order in the court. To preside over with the power of giving judicial decisions. Look at that, DC Sniper.
I see it, baby. I see it.
To preside over with the power of giving judicial decisions, because it was the prerogative of kings and rulers to pass judgment. Wow.
Sounds like a bishop, a leader, a judge.
Yeah. To distinguish, to decide mentally or judiciously. By implication, to try, condemn, punish. Wow. Wow. So that's what that means for anybody to think that when he said sentence, he was talking about a whole bunch of words properly spaced apart with a period at the end. No, he was talking about a judgment. Okay. So read that from the top again, brother. And let's read on down.
15:19. Wherefore my sentence is this, that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols and from fornication and from things strangled and from blood.
This right here is a judgment, a decree, y'all. This is law. And this is up under the Melchizedek priesthood. See, so we can't even get that off. Like, that's y'all going to Leviticus, that's Aaron. He's saying this after Yahshua is dead and risen up. He's saying this long after his life. It's like 20 years after his life this going down. And this is James telling Paul, he's commanding Paul, who had Barnabas with him at the time, this is what you teach. Don't trouble them concerning the circumcision for right now. You know what I mean? No, let's get them straight concerning idolatry, concerning sexual morality, and guess what else? Flesh consumption. Flesh consumption.
Ouch.
Oh, wait. Now
go back up to 19. Let me read that back down.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols and from fornication and from things strangled and from blood. For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. You want to keep
there
banging?
It is. Go ahead, DC Sniper. Explain to us what you're saying, brother.
He put it forth his judgment, forth his sentence, and he said, Slim, stay away from pollutions of idols. Put the flesh down. Anything that's strangled, like that's big right there. You know what I'm saying? That's big right there. Yeah. Like, because at this day in time, are we doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are these animals being slaughtered today? Like in the meat house, they being hung up. You're tormenting the joint for one, and then they slicing it at the neck. Strangulation, you strangling on your blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, is what we gonna do? This is the leader of the council at Jerusalem. What we gonna do?
Yeah, real talk, bro. Now look at this. We're gonna jump down to verse 29, right? Because pollutions of idols ain't just singing to a Christmas tree. Okay, pollutions of idols ain't just having a Jesus piece on your neck or whatever. All right, pollution of idols also has to do with dietary law. You understand? What you throwing down your throat. So let's show that. We're gonna go to Acts 15. Acts 15 and 29. What did it say, y'all?
That ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well. Fare ye well.
Fare ye well, you dig? So meats or foods offered to idols. This is what Paul was commanded to teach among the Gentiles by the chief bishop in charge, that was put in charge by Messiah himself. All right, so now the question should roll through your mind: did he teach that, or did he teach against it? You see what I'm saying? That's what we got here. But we see James is standing up, giving a judgment. Okay, giving a sentence on what this is. All right, and he obviously has the authority. Obviously has it. All right, now, let's drop that real quick. Let's go over here to Galatians. All right. He say, okay, here go Tovi. What up, Tovi? How do we know this James is the brother of MALAKIMAC? Is there any scripture showing this is Messiah's half brother, son of Joseph, before he married Mary, not biological? No, there aren't any scriptures, Tovi, but there is. That's a good question. That's a good question. But there is church tradition. Okay, the Western church, i.e., my bad, y'all, that's the phone. The Western church, i.e., what you know is Rome and all that. The tradition with Rome is that Joseph had these children before he met Mary, and then Yahshua was born. So these aren't these are Joseph's children and not Mary, making him a half brother. That's the Eastern church, I believe it is. The Western church come right out and just tell you James ain't his brother because they don't believe the Messiah ever had brothers and sisters, and that's his cousin. You know what I mean? So the Western church believes James the Just is Yahshua's cousin. The Eastern church believes he's I guess that would be a stepbrother, because according to them, he ain't even Joseph's son. So, you know, those are Joseph's children, and Mary is and the Messiah is Mary's child. You did, but there are no scriptures in the Bible per se. You may find some in some lost books, but all the history differs. All the history differs. That's an excellent question. Excellent question. You did. But when you get into the church tradition, you're gonna see the Eastern Anglican Church. They hold fast that James and all them are children that Joseph had from a previous marriage. That's that tradition. The Western Church, dealing with the Roman Catholics and them, they believe that that's just a cousin. Like Pete, Mary, his mama had a sister named Mary who had a father, who had a husband named Cleophas. Like a lot of double writing going on. So yeah, that was an excellent question. Not real talk. All right, now let's jump over to Galatians 1. Because right here in Galatians, Paul describes him going up to Jerusalem. Paul describes what happened when he went up. That's why some scholars, like what he about to describe, some scholars say that it is really the first time he went up really is Acts 21. You know what I mean? And not Acts 15, but that's up for debate. You'll hear people arguing that all the time. All right. Now, about this, Paul defends his ministry. We're going to go to Galatians 1. We're going to start at verse 11. Paul's letters are very important. Read them. You need to read them because he's spilling a lot of beans in them deals.
A lot of them.
Slow down and reread Paul's letters. You're gonna be like, dang, okay. There's a lot going on that you really like that we speed pass. We speed pass it. You dig?
And look, even if that wasn't his brother, we still got the reports that Peter had to go and report to this James.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which still puts him in a position of authority. And this is Peter, the rock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So either way, who is this James?
Right. So we're going to go to Galatians and hear Paul's own words, all right? Let's get to it. Galatians. Let me throw this back up on the screen. All right, Galatians 1. We're going to start at verse 11. Okay, and this is about Paul. And see, for one, people never ask, why do he got to keep defending his ministry? Why? If he's teaching what the brothers told him to teach, why does he constantly have to defend himself and prove himself? Watch this. Galatians 1, verse 11. Let's eat, brother.
But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man.
Hold on. Stop right there. Hold on. Stop right there. That's heavy right there. Look what he's telling you. He's telling you that he didn't get this from a man. Now remember, who is Yahshua's representative on earth at this time? It's James's brother. James's brother. So he's telling you when he first got his revelation that he didn't go check in with man. He didn't learn none of this from man. That's what he's saying. Meaning this, y'all, in layman's term. Paul didn't learn any of this from the apostles who knew Yahshua. According to him, he learned directly from Messiah himself. He didn't learn from the apostles or the disciples. Remember that. That's an excellent point. All right, I'll go ahead to verse 12.
For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Yahshua HaMashiach, or Jesus
so
Christ.
we gotta go with that. That's what he said. He wasn't taught by men. So we're going to look, put it this way. The only men that can teach you about Yahshua at this point are the disciples and the apostles.
The ones who walk with him and talk with him, touch them and all that.
Yeah, they the only ones that can teach you anyway. Paul, see, so that's why we understand this is him defending his ministry. And that what he's teaching in ways is different than the apostles. Because he letting it be known to those in Galatia, look, I didn't go to them to get taught this. What I'm teaching y'all, I didn't learn from them.
And remember yesterday we read that when I think it was the epistle of Peter to James, where he said, don't give none of these into the hands of nobody unless they done been initiated. You know what I'm saying? So did Paul do that?
Right.
Did Paul do that?
Right. We're going to go over some of that today.
He's saying it right now. Like, for I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So when we go read Peter's epistle to James, you're going to see the instruction. Right. So right here, he's telling you what I'm doing is different than what they are doing. What I'm teaching is different than what they. Now, who is they? They are the apostles and disciples that Yahshua ordained. Y'all never forget that. The ones that knew him. I mean, James is brother, so I mean, he knew him for real. Smelled his farts and everything growing up. Like, knew him. You see what I'm saying? So Paul is telling you, I didn't learn this from the disciples. I didn't get taught this by the disciple. I got taught directly by Yahshua. That's his claim. That's his claim. All right. Go ahead, Doc.
What we at 13? For ye have heard of my conversation in the past time in the Yahudim's religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of the Most High and wasted it, and profited in the Yahudim's religion above many, my equals in mine own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace.
Hold on right there. When you hear separation from my mother's womb, remember, separate means holy. If you talking holiness from the womb, you talking Nazarite. That's what you talking. Consecrated from the womb.
Okay.
See, that's Nazarite talk right there. Come on, Hebrew, verse 16.
To reveal his son in me that I might preach him among the heathen. Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me. But I went into Arabia and returned again unto Damascus.
Do y'all hear this? He telling you, look, what I'm teaching, I didn't get from, I did not learn it from the apostles, from the disciples. Y'all need to hear this because early on in this chapter, he says, if anybody bring you any other gospel other than that you have received, count them cursed. Who you think he talking about? Who you think he talking about? Who else out there during this time preaching the gospel? Who you think he talking about? Oh, don't worry about it. The next chapter, he tell you who he talking about. He call them by name. He telling you, I didn't confer with flesh and blood. I didn't learn from them. He has to defend his apostleship and his authority because according to the protocol, he ain't an apostle. He may be one according to his own mouth or own mind, but not according to the codes and conducts that was already laid down. He's not. Now watch this. And he telling you, I ain't go to Jerusalem. And he's admitting that there were apostles out there before him. So why wouldn't he want to get on one accord with them? Why? I mean, based off the Nazarene Acts, Paul tried to kill James before his conversion. Why wouldn't he go to Jerusalem and beg this man for his forgiveness? Brother, I was in error and darkness. I tried to kill you.
Yeah.
Please forgive me.
If you offended your brother, go to him. Then go to the altar.
Look at this. Wow, he tell you, man, I went to Arabia, then back to Damascus, right? Now watch this, verse 18.
Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem to see Peter and abode with him 15 days.
2 weeks and a day, go ahead.
But other of the apostles saw I none, except James, the Most High's brother. I mean, the Messiah's brother.
The master or the Messiah's brother.
2V. There you go.
Galatians 1:19, Tuvi.
There you go, Toby.
The Messiah's brother. You can second witness it with Matthew 13, verse 55 on down. Mark chapter 6, verse 1 through 3. James is in there again.
And then if you get into the gospel of the Nazarenes, this first century document, you're gonna see him and James was banging, like traveling, learning together, and all of that.
You see this? So this is right out Paul's own mouth that James is the master's brother. But y'all, Paul also just told y'all, I ain't go check in with him the years later. What I teach, I wasn't taught by him or them. You see, that's what's going on here, y'all. That's what's going on here. There's rift in the movement. There's rift, and either you're going to side with the ones that understood Messiah, knew Messiah, physically and spiritually. You understand? Or you're going to roll with the man that never met him, never knew him. I mean, you got to make that decision. I can't make that decision for you. But believe this, there has been a 2,000-year-old conspiracy to hide all this, to not even focus on what it is. Not realizing the Messiah's original movement, you understand? They didn't try to put that out to earth. And they almost succeeded with that, man. I had to sit back and think about it the other day. Like, man, they almost succeeded with that.
Yeah.
Because anytime you bring up James the Just and everybody say, who that? Who you talking about? Who you talking about? Who is that? Anytime you bring up, hey, you know the Messiah had brothers and sisters, right? Huh? Boy, Jesus ain't had no brothers and sisters. Don't nobody know. So that means the doctrine that's being pushed out, you understand, is a selected doctrine. A purposely handcrafted, selected doctrine to keep you from asking these type questions.
Yeah.
All right. Paul has told you that James is the Messiah's brother. Paul told you I ain't get this from none of them. I ain't go check in with them. What I got from Revelation. Now, anybody can have a revelation, no doubt, but it still got to be tested and tried, don't it? It still got to be tested and tried. And when you add up all of Paul's accounts leading up to his revelation, Acts the 9th chapter, on the road to Damascus, Acts the 22nd chapter, on the road to Damascus, Acts the 26th chapter, on the road to Damascus, and Galatians 1, what he just said. What he just say? when it pleased the Most High to reveal his son in me, I got this by revelation. I conferred not with flesh. Right here, verse 15. This is about his conversion. But when it pleased the Almighty who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. You see that? You add up all these accounts of his revelation of Messiah and see if they harmonize or not. All right, now let's go over to the next chapter.
And
go
look,
ahead,
again, if like the Messiah would have went to, or he would have sent the angel the same way he just sent the angel to Peter and said, go to James. He would have went and let James know, look, I'm about to go holler at him on this road to Damascus. He gonna come check in with you. You know what I'm saying? Just so you know it's not no beef, because Paul was an enemy. You know what I'm saying? He tried to kill him, broke both his legs. Like, that never happened. So now you see this man didn't even go and check in like he was supposed to. You're supposed to go check in. Come on, I can go back. That's all. I just wanted to say that, you know what I'm saying? Because we just see he went to Peter and had the angel, hey, go James in there.
Right.
He didn't do that with Shaul.
Absolutely, bro. Excellent
So
point.
now we supposed to just believe that we supposed to believe your dream, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you're not getting the protocol. Like, and we went over the protocol for an apostle. So now you're saying you're an apostle. Like, but we already went over the criteria for an apostle. So you're not checking out so far in my eyes. I might be off though.
Right, exactly. Let's add this back to the stream though. Now, look at this. Look at the words at the top of it, and this is in Galatians. That's why, y'all, a lot of people believe this Galatians. You see that Galatians 2 line right up with this Acts 15. All right. Now, these are Paul's words. Now, when you really start examining his letters versus how he's portrayed in Acts, you'll start seeing too, like, hold on. His letters don't even line all the way up with what's going on in Acts, because Luke purportedly wrote Acts. You understand? There's a lot going on with this, man. It's a lot. All right. So let's deal with the Galatians, the 2nd chapter. All right. Start at verse 1.
14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, least by any means I should run or had run in vain. And neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. And that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that we might bring us into bondage, that they might bring us into bondage.
Knows what he calling? He calling, and these are messianic believers, y'all. These ain't just, Yahudim who just don't believe in Messiah. These are messianic brothers who believe in him, who are under the leadership of James the Just in Jerusalem. So when Paul out teaching amongst these different communities, James would always send people right behind him to check and see if what's being taught lines up with what has been ordained. So notice he's calling brothers false right here. And then he introduces this concept of liberty, a certain aspect of freedom that you have in Messiah to do certain things. You understand that what he just got commanded in Acts 15? Notice he ain't bringing none of that up. Remember, abstain from meats offered to idols or foods offered to idols, fornication, things strangled, and blood. That is what was said or taught, or he was told to teach at the Jerusalem Council. We all read that in Acts. He ain't even bringing that up. So when the brothers come and check him, that basically perform an audit on him to make sure he teaching what he was commanded to teach. He called the brothers false brethren. Then he introduces this concept of liberty, meaning you free from. He's saying, look, I'm free from even teaching up under that tutelage or that authority. I'm doing my own thing. Well, look at this. Verse 5.
To whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you.
No, so he's saying we was arguing. It's contention with Paul, man. You dig? It's contention with Paul. It is. Watch this. Go ahead.
But of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, wait, make it no. Oh, okay. But of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. The Most High accepteth no man's person, for they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me.
Knows what he's saying. But of these, remember, he's in Jerusalem, y'all. He talking about his time in Jerusalem. Knows what he says. But of these who seem to be somewhat. Huh? Okay, well, hold on. Let's look at it in a different translation.
Whatsoever they were.
So you can peep the sarcasm.
Said it
okay,
makes
so
no
you can peep what he really saying. All right. Look at the NLT. And the leaders, answer about this. And the leaders of the church. Hold on. And the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. By the way, their reputation as great leaders made no difference to me. For God has no favorites. Who's the leader of the church, y'all?
Uh-oh.
Who we talking about here?
Uh-oh.
He said that, look, they ain't even say, I told him about my view on circumcision, and they didn't even add nothing else extra to me. Is he lying or not? This man lying.
He's a liar.
He's flat out lying right here. What you mean they didn't add nothing extra to what you did, to what you was asking about circumcision? Yes, they did. What did James tell you? Teach to abstain from meats offered to idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood.
So, man, don't even worry about the circumcision. Teach this.
Teach this right here. We can deal with that later. Teach this. So, y'all, the leaders of the church in Jerusalem, y'all, is James, and then, of course, governed by the other apostles. You see that? If y'all understand what we saying so far, give me a 4 up in the chat, man. We ain't trying to lose nobody, man. We ain't trying to lose nobody. He told you right there. Look, their reputation don't mean nothing to me. I don't care if that's Yahshua's brother. I don't care if that's Peter and them. Y'all, he's in opposition to the disciples that Yahshua set up. And they were checking him on his doctrine. And he writing about it. He trying to save his ministry. He's trying to save faith. So he writes this to the Galatians.
Do y'all see this?
Look at it. That's your boy Paul. He's telling you, I don't agree with them. I wasn't taught by them. And the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. Yet that's a lie.
Straight lie.
By the way, their reputation as great leaders made no difference to me, for God has no favorites. Let's see what this next one is. We know the NIV. Let's go to the ESV. ESV, English Standard Version. And from those who seem to be influential, what they were makes no difference to me. God shows no partiality. Those, I say, who seem influential added nothing to me. Look at this, man.
Straight lie.
That's a lie, man. Right? And then it's crazy because they talking about the influential. But remember, you in Jerusalem. You in Jerusalem, Jack? What you mean? Who's in charge here?
James the Just.
James
the brother, the brother of the Lord is what it said.
Right. Watch this, Galatians 2:7. Go ahead.
But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of circumcision was unto Peter.
That's another lie. That's another lie. Need we go read it?
Let's go
Mark
read
16, the Messiah sent them all out into the nations. What you mean the gospel of the uncircumcision is committed to you, and the gospel of the circumcision unto the me? So in other words, Paul comes up with this lie that modern Christianity believes. The 12 apostles were only sent to the 12 tribes. Me, Paul, I'm out here for everybody else.
And that's crazy because not only was it 12
Messiah sent them out into the nations. He said, go out into the nations and teach them everything that I commanded you. That's at his resurrection. Look, Peter was already going to the uncircumcised. That's Acts the 10th chapter. That's easy.
I was just about to say that.
That's easy. That's not the truth. They are, in other words, y'all, the Nazarene sect already had Gentile protocol. Gentiles can worship the Creator, the Most High. They got to come up under the same level of discipline, though. They got to come up under the same level of discipline, though. And we're going to read that. We're going to read that. We're going to read Peter's letter to James. You see? Now watch this. What else we got? Go ahead. Verse 8.
For he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles.
Straight lying, man. Verse 9.
And when James, Peter, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision.
Wow. Then he did. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars. Well, like, what is this dude, man? This dude be on one, man. I'm telling you.
Take shots.
He dissing the bros, man. All right. He dissing the bros, man. All right. Well, he said right here in the NLT, in fact, James, Peter, and John, who were known as pillars of the church, recognized the gift God had given me, and they accepted Barnabas and me as their co-workers. They encouraged us to keep preaching to the Gentiles while they continue their work with the YHWH'S. That's not true. That ain't what is that what we read in Acts 15?
I didn't read that.
Acts 15 didn't say none of that. Okay, Paul, you specifically go do your own thing amongst the Gentiles. We just gonna stick with the YHWH. They was already out amongst the Gentiles teaching.
Facts.
They already was out there. Come on, man. Like, think about what's being said here, y'all. So now that we know this, look at this. Let me show y'all that. Now we're going to go back up to the top of Galatians, the first chapter. Matter of fact, hold on. Verse 10. Let's go on down a little bit more. Galatians 2 and 10.
Only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forward to do.
That ain't, bro. They told you to abstain from meats offered to idols, from fornication, from things strangled, and from blood.
Yeah.
Paul is not being truthful about what went down in Jerusalem to the Galatian assembly. He about to lose the assembly in Galatia. They looking at him, jaundice-eyed. They under-eyeing him like he's saying something right with dude. Now watch this. Verse 11. Watch this.
Peter opposed by Paul. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles.
There he go again. There go James again. So James has the authority to send men to check on what's going on. James has the authority. For before that certain men came from James, meaning they were sent by him. All right, go ahead, Op.
He did eat with the Gentiles, but when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision.
See? So according to Paul, Peter was out of order at first in Antioch. All right? This is about table fellowship. All right? So according to Paul, and then we only got Paul's side of it. If you want to believe Paul checked Peter, that's on you. But we only got his side of the story. According to Paul, Peter was acting unlawful. That's basically what he's saying. Peter was acting unlawful before the other men from James showed up. Watch this. Go ahead.
Now remember, this the same dude who was just going to hunt Peter down.
Yeah.
To kill him.
Exactly.
And the other Jews disassembled likewise with him, and so much that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation.
So look at this. So he like even Barnabas understood the code too. You did? Barnabas and Peter like, I mean, this is according to Paul's own narrative, but understand what's on the table here, y'all. It's called table fellowship. How to eat and what to eat. You see? Now again, you can believe Paul checked Peter and check Barnabas if you want. That's your personal prerogative. But if you dig deeper in this, you'll see, hold on. In the early movement of Messiah, there is a code or there is laws concerning table fellowship, dietary law, what to eat and what not to eat. That's what they're falling out over. It's table fellowship. Eating with Gentiles. Verse 14, what it say out?
But when I saw that they walked not uprightly, according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if thou being a Jew livest after the manner of Gentiles and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews?
Look at this. So he's straight to look. So according to Paul, Peter lived like a heathen. Huh?
He's a wild dude.
Man, this dude is crazy. He's straight accusing. That's why it's good to read this letter of Peter to James, because Peter gonna call Paul out. He gonna call Paul out because Peter says in there is a man out there teaching that I'm unlawful, saying things that I never said. Paul got everybody believing he didn't check Peter, check Barnabas. You understand? And he's saying that Peter lives like a heathen. This is Peter, K5, one of the top apostles. Some don't add up. I said unto Peter before Paul, if you being a Yahudi live after the manner of heathens, Gentiles, and not as do the Yahudim, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Yahudim? Wow. He straight said, Peter, according to his own narrative, you already live like a heathen. You ain't walking lawful and living lawful. Nah, bro, it's something else going on here. Now, let's go back to Galatians 1. Clearly, he got a problem with the leadership in Jerusalem. Clearly. And to prove it, let's go up to Galatians 1.
And real quick, let me say something, man.
Go ahead.
Please don't go back in the archives and dig out stuff where brothers is defending Paul, because brothers be growing, you know what I'm saying? And even then, it was strong defense in Paul, you know what I'm saying? But brothers growing, more information is coming out, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Brothers couldn't see certain conflicts and things of that nature inside of the scriptures, inside of the Bible, but now it is. So don't go back, you know what I'm saying, in the catacombs and be like, oh, now you teaching this. The brood grew. You know what I'm saying? The brood grew. And this is what it is, and we're showing it, you know what I'm saying, through the scriptures and historically, and we're going to continue to. And it's going to get heavier and heavier, period. But don't do that. Part of my DC slang, don't do that Bama stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Just get down. You know, class is in session.
Yeah. But look, it's a reason why I ain't never took down any old video. I'm leaving it up there. I'm leaving it all up there. Because guess what? It shows the progress. It shows the growth.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not taking nothing down.
No old music. Growing in this thing. Yeah. You're not supposed to be stagnant in this.
That's right. So I ain't taking nothing down. You dig? Hey, go ahead. But look, shout out to all the haters, y'all jackers and naysayers. We love y'all. You dig? Matter of fact, y'all don't even know y'all be promoting us. So, you know, if I ever make it big, I got a major check for my haters, man. Believe that. Because without y'all, I wouldn't even blew up, you know.
I just want that 98
All right, let me add this to the stream, man.
All
right, so Galatians 1. Now that we know that Paul has a problem with the leaders of the church, and then he named them. Named them James, Peter, and John.
And we see James the Just is the direct bishop, the leader at the Council of Jerusalem.
Exactly. Even by Paul's own mouth, right? Now, that's all that's important to know. Now we can read Galatians 1, because a lot of our brothers, I know I probably taught it to you before, but a lot of us read this, right? And we say, okay, if anybody bring any other doctrine, that he's cursed, he's damned. And then this is why a lot of the brothers look at me with hatred in their mouth and heart right now. You understand? Which I understand. Don't act like I don't understand why, brother. I clearly understand why. You understand? But without the proper historical context of what's going on with James and Paul, you will never understand. Hold on, Paul dissing them.
Yeah.
You dig? And then trip off this. How we pull this scripture on each other, cursing each other, right? When all us believe different things when it comes to the doctrine or come to the gospel. All of us do. It ain't like we totally agree in everything.
Right.
So that means you will be cursing those you fellowship with. No, y'all, right. Paul was dealing with losing his ministry. You dig? He had to defend his ministry. You dig? And that's what happened. And that's why he started sending out certain things and saying certain things. Dissing the brothers, the leaders of the church in Jerusalem, bro. If all you gotta do is listen, you'll know exactly who he's talking about. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Then when he get to dissing long hair, you know exactly. These brothers are Nazarites or Nazarenes. They don't change. So they naturally, by process of elimination, got the long hair. Those that commune with angels. That's in Colossians. He's against that. Well, that's what these brothers do. We just read where Peter was communing with his angel in Acts the 12th chapter.
Facts.
Was he not?
Facts.
Well, Peter was in spiritual communion with an angel. Nazarenes are in spiritual communion to this day. Paul against that. Then in Romans the 14th chapter, in 1 Timothy the 4th chapter, he's clearly against those who chew on the herbs and don't chew on flesh. Y'all add all of it up. He's against the disciples. He's against Yahshua's movement that's being headquartered out of Jerusalem.
Facts.
That's who we talking about.
Can y'all see this?
Right. If y'all can understand that, give us an 8 up in the chat. Give us an 8. You know what I mean? If you can't understand it, be real with us, and then we'll if we got time, we'll walk you back through it. All right. But it is what it is. All right. All right, let's work. Introduction. Galatians 1:1. Let's work.
Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahshua HaMashiach and Yahuwah the Father, who raised him from the dead.
He coming right out telling you, I'm not a student of the apostles. I didn't go through no type of initiation process to get initiated. This is, I'm solely out here on my own vision that don't even add up. You see that? Verse 2, go ahead.
And all the brethren which are with me unto the churches of Galatia. Grace be to you and peace from the Most High, the Father, and from our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach.
Notice in verse 2, he says, and all the brethren which are with me. And all the brethren which are with me. Why do you think Paul says in other letters, follow me? Because I follow Messiah.
But are you ready?
Think about it. He talking about those that are with him, because guess what, y'all? The apostles and disciples are not with him. I know. 2 Peter 3:15. We'll pull the history on that later. Because people will opinion they can't be because Peter vouched for Paul. Nah, he didn't. We're gonna show you the history behind it.
Yeah, it's a lot of yeah.
All right. Go ahead, brother. Verse 4.
who gave himself for our sins that he might deliver us from this present evil world according to the will of the Most High, or according to the will of the Master, and my fault.
Verse 5.
To whom to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen.
All right, what verse we in, bro? My bad.
Go back up to 4. Let me read 4 again.
Okay.
Who gave himself for our sins that he might deliver us from this present evil world according to the will of Yahweh, or why do it say that? According to the will of God and our Father.
Yeah, that's weird. But go ahead. Go ahead.
To whom be glory forever and ever. Amen.
Okay, verse 6.
I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of HaMashiach unto another gospel.
Trip off this. Trip off this. This is the letter to the assembly in Galatia. All right. Y'all, who is preaching a different or another gospel according to Paul? He just told you in chapter 2 that he don't agree with the leaders of the church. He called them false brethren. He said he had liberty. Then he named John, James, Peter. Then he tell you what? That he ain't learned this from no man. Huh? He finally went and checked in. You did? He tell you in other letters that what? He against the long hair, he against the herbs, and he against the spiritual communion. So, y'all, who out there is teaching another gospel that's different from Paul? Because he's the one calling it another gospel. All right, verse 7.
Hey, hold on. Sister Eliana said, and Shalom says, I was always suspect. Oh, okay. Because who was, okay. So she said I was always suspect because who was Paul's second witness? That was up.
Yeah, no doubt.
And who was Paul's second witness?
Man, look, once you look up all his conversion accounts, they don't add up. You can try to make them add up. They don't add up though. You feel me? So yeah, no doubt, sister. No doubt. Now watch this.
I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of HaMashiach unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of HaMashiach.
Go ahead.
But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Notice when he says we, y'all, he not including the apostles in Jerusalem. He's including.
But that's what they would have you think.
Yeah, no, he's including all those who are with him. We read it, verse 2. Didn't we read that?
Yeah, we did.
And all the brethren which are with me. Yeah, that the we don't include down here in verse 8. The we does not include. The we does not include the apostles in Jerusalem. You see what I'm saying? No, he's saying that if they not with us, they over there. They teaching something different than us. So he got to put something out there because remember he's defending his ministry. He got to put a scare tactic out there. Hey, they're cursed. They're damned. That's what accursed means. Let them be accursed. Meaning, if you don't believe how we believe, let them be accursed. If I said that today, y'all be ready to hang me.
And he said this about the Messiah's brother.
Yes.
Bold. You know what I'm saying? Bold. And he lied like, man. Let's keep it up.
All right, go ahead. Verse 9.
As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. For do I now persuade men or the Most High? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of HaMashiach.
Yeah, so you got brothers today reading that as if that pertained to us, as if we the ones bringing the other gospel. When Paul, without going to the historical context, understanding that Paul taught a different gospel than the apostles.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about. And he's defending his ministry because they coming behind checking his temperature and like, bro, you making a mess out of it.
Yeah.
You're making a mess out of it, man. You see that?
Yeah, he definitely wasn't prophesying about Nazarenes today.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He was talking about those Nazarenes of that day. James, the brother of Messiah, and Peter and John and the rest of them.
Yeah, it's not a prophecy if it's already going on. You know what I mean? Because brothers read that 1 Timothy 4. In the last days, some shall depart from the faith, and producing spirits and doctrines of devils. Man, that prophesied about MALAKIMAC in 2021. Y'all, it ain't a prophecy if it's already going on. And he let you know through his own letters. He got a problem with those who tell you to abstain from meats. That ain't prophetic. How is that prophetic when it's already going on in this time? That's like me prophesying about Juneteenth. You know, in the last days on Juneteenth, Negroes gonna be barbecuing buffalo burgers and shooting fireworks. That ain't no prophecy. That's what these niggas doing that right now. That's all Paul was doing, was expressing how he was in disagreement with the apostles who was running Yahshua's movement.
Yeah.
Specifically James.
Yeah.
And Peter. He had a problem with both these brothers. And the crazy part about it, YAHKI is this, man. The scholars today even admit this. That's why I be showing some of these scholars before we go on.
Yeah.
You understand? This ain't just a brother like you know, me talking. No, we go do the research. The scholars is out here saying the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So 1 Timothy 4 ain't no prophecy. Paul was prophesying about me, telling brothers to stop chewing on animal sandwiches. That ain't no prophecy. If the leadership is already telling, hey, abstain from meats offered to idols, that's what you teach them. How is that prophetic? That's already happening.
Facts.
You dig? Let him be accursed. Dang, he angry, ain't he? I thought it was the fruits of the spirit. What happened to the fruits of the spirit? The fruits of the spirit is love and joy and peace and long-suffering and gentleness and goodness. Huh? What happened to the fruits of the spirit in Galatians 6? He over there cursing niggas in Galatians, the 1st chapter. Galatians, the 4th chapter, Paul telling niggas cut their rods off for circumcision. I wish they was cut off. You look the cut off up, it say castrated. This man bipolar. He bipolar, he angry.
Emotional.
Yeah, he cursing, bros. Look at what's really happening here. He's cursing brothers. Look at this. Let me pull that up. Let him be a curse, right? Let me show y'all something. This ain't a game. This man cursing people.
He's cursing the people in Yahushua's movement.
Yes. Yes.
His friends, his brothers. You know what I'm saying? He's cursing them. Hey, that's crazy. That's bold.
That's real
and he
bold,
lying.
Man. That's real bold. Now look, when he say let him be a curse, if they bring y'all any other thing other than what we, and he talking about the men with him. He ain't talking about the apostles and them. He said let him be a curse. Look what a curse means. Look what he was saying.
Strong's G 331. Anathema. Anathema.
Anathema. Look what this means, y'all. This cat is tripping. That deal say accursed, anathema, bind under a great curse. This should look for anybody that claim they follow Yahshua the Messiah. This should not be sitting well with you.
Yeah, facts.
Because this man is binding his brother and his dear friends up under a great curse.
The true apostles.
Look at this. It says a curse, a man a curse, devoted to the Irish woes. Dang.
Yeah, that's hard.
Wow, bro. That ain't nothing to play with.
Boys straight to Trying to send them straight to the lake.
That's what I'm saying. So now let's get in. You got anything you want to say, bro? Right now, I'm finna go ahead and jump over here to
let's work.
Peter's letter to James.
Yeah, let's work.
All right, bang, bang, bang. Bro said that boy Saul was possessed, man. He was tripping.
Sure.
Come on, bro. Come
lawless,
on.
Lawless.
Oh, lawless Saul. Let's end it with Peter's letter to James, though.
Let's go.
Man, over here lying on people and everything.
Terrible.
All right, so let me stop sharing that real quick. See what we're going to do. We're going to roll it like this. Share screen. Hold on, let me take that off. Take y'all right up off there real quick so y'all can see. All right, share screen. All right. Yeah, once y'all start putting 2 and 2 together, it open up for you. You be like, dang, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. All right,
and remember, see, y'all don't even. We're gonna get into who Paul too, man, because you talking about that Herodian.
Yeah.
Exactly exactly who we was talking about. And there was a whole conspiracy against the movement of Yahshua.
Hey, y'all going in. They in the chat like, yay. Man. All right, so y'all, this is the Nazarene literature. Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, or what's known as the Clementine homilies. How many of y'all knew that Peter actually has a letter written to James? And it's called the Doctrine of Reserve. How to reserve the doctrine. Because remember, somebody was going around cursing the brothers. Somebody was going around teaching something that, you know, they didn't ordain. Somebody was going around lying. So they had to come up with this doctrine of reserve. How do you reserve the doctrine? Okay. This can be found in the Nazarene Acts. This Nazarene lit right here. All right. This same James that we've been identifying, y'all, the brother of Yahshua. Okay. Look, even out Paul's mouth, he's his brother. And he's an apostle. Even according to Paul, he's an apostle.
What was that? Galatians 1:19, right?
Yeah. That's the Messiah's brother right there. Dissing them though, the whole way through. Whoever they seem to be makes no difference to me.
Yeah. Taking all types of shots at the brothers.
Calling them false brethren and all that. Curse them. Count them cursed.
Say their long hair unnatural.
Yeah.
They weak because they eat herbs. Yeah.
Unholy because they commune with angels. What is wrong with this?
Yeah.
We just seen an angel communing with Peter when he got let out of jail.
My goodness.
This man all over the place.
Man.
1 minute it's the fruits of the spirit and love. The next minute, curse this. Bind them under a curse. Cut they love muscle off. Since they talking about
gotta be that Edomite side of them.
Yeah, they're Herodian, huh? Okay, let's get into this, man. This is actual factual right here. This is the letter of Kepha to Yaakov or Peter to James. Let's work, brother.
What century is this?
This first century.
Oh,
first
okay.
Century.
First century document.
Yeah. This first century.
Let's get it. Peter to James, the master and bishop of the holy church under the Father of all, through Yahshua HaMashiach, wishes peace always.
So we should be under no illusion as of now that even Peter, one of the top apostles, recognized James as the absolute ruler or the head of Yahshua's movement. If y'all understand that, give me a 7 up in the chat. Because there ain't no point in us going further if y'all don't understand what we just read right there. If you understand that Peter, one of the top apostles, just saluted and recognized James as master and bishop of the Holy Assembly, or all the camps out here. Under who? The Father of all. Through Yahshua the Messiah, which is peace always. See how he salute? It's like page 3 or something in the Clementine, bro. If you're in the Nazarene Acts, it's in the back. It's in the back. I'll find it for you. Come on, Ak, let's get it.
Chapter 1, Doctrine of Reserve. Knowing, my brother, your eager desire after that which is for the advantage of us all, I beg and beseech you not to communicate to any one of the Gentiles the books of my preachings, which I sent to you, nor to any one of our own tribe before trial.
Stop right there. Look at that. Peter wrote to James and say, hey, look, check this out. I beg and beseech you, do not give the books of our learnings to no heathen or nobody of our own nation until they are tried, until they pass a trial. This is the vetting system the Nazarenes came up with. You got to vet people, man. You can't just accept anybody into what you got going on. So first things first, Peter wrote to James, you understand, to set up a vetting system. Begged them, don't communicate any of this understanding to no heathen or to nobody of our own nation unless they go through trial and pass it. You see that? Go ahead, Ak.
But if anyone has been proved and found worthy, then to commit them to him after the manner in which Moses delivered his books to the 70 who succeeded to his chair. Wherefore also the fruit of that caution appears evil till now. For his countrymen keep the same rule of monarchy and polity everywhere, being unable in any way to think otherwise, or to be led out of the way of much indicating scriptures.
To be led out of the way, of the much indicating scriptures. Wow, go ahead.
For according to the rule delivered to them, they endeavor to correct the discordances of the scriptures. If anyone happily,
Meaning, look, Peter is admitting that there are contradictions in the scriptures. So he's saying before anybody jump out there and teach our doctrine, teach what Yahshua left us, they may attempt to correct the contradictions in the scriptures, but if they don't know how we were taught to represent the Messiah's doctrine, they're gonna get confounded. That's why he said everybody ain't meant to teach if they haven't went through trial yet. You got to learn how to properly use the sword of the doctrine. Navigate. You got to know how to properly navigate through the murky waters. What we call the Bible. You have to. If not, you're going to be confounded by naysayers. So this right here ensures that the Nazarene doctrine is preserved. All right. By coming up with what? A trial or a system of vetting. All right, go ahead. Finish that off, brother.
If anyone, happily not knowing the traditions, is confounded at the various utterances of the prophets, wherefore they charge no one to teach, unless he has first learned how the scriptures must be used. And thus they have amongst them one power, one law, and one hope.
Now, trip off this. He said no one can teach until they learn how the scriptures must be used. And you today you think, oh yeah, precept upon precept, line upon line. That ain't how Yahshua taught them. He taught them to be excellent money changers when it comes to the scripture. A money changer is basically a banker. A banker has to develop the skill to understand real money from counterfeit money. You got to develop that skill dealing with the scriptures. You got to know about this. What's the character of the creator versus the character of the false gods. You got to know that. Messiah knew it. Ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you would do. He was a murderer from the beginning. And when he speak of life, speak of his own, for he's the father of it. He made the distinction.
Yeah.
We got to learn how the scriptures must be used. You understand? It's not the traditional Israelite way that we all been accustomed to. It's not. It's not. This is a higher level right here. All right. You got something you want to say, my brother? Go ahead.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I was just saying, just going through the scriptures. You got to know how to do it. You got to know what was put in there by the lying pen of the scribes. Brothers don't want to address that at all. You skip over Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? You just got to know how to navigate, like you said.
Yep, that's it. Learn how to navigate, man. It's all good. Just information. All right, now we about to get into chapter 2 of this. Misrepresentation of Peter's doctrine. For y'all that just tuning in, we're reading the epistle of Peter to James, the brother of the Messiah, the chief bishop of all the camps in Yahshua HaMashiach, all the churches and assemblies in Yahshua HaMashiach. The chief bishop is James the Just. Yahshua is the Messiah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get it. It's not Paul. It's not Paul at all. All right, go ahead.
Misrepresentation of Peter's doctrine. In order, therefore, that the like may also happen to those among us as to these 70, give the books of my preachings to our brethren with the like mystery of initiation that they. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, hold on, I got you. Hold on. Oh, snap! This stuff be triggering. My bad, y'all. Hold on. Froze up on me. Let's see. All right, go ahead, Op.
That they may indoctrinate those who wish to take part in teaching. For if it be not so done, our word of truth will be rent into many opinions.
Yeah, see that? He's saying, look, if we don't do this, what we teach is going to be torn into many opinions. Huh? Right? If you want to teach, you had to have been properly trained up in the Nazarene understanding to teach. You see? All the camps today, all the assemblies today, everybody is supposed to be trained up in the Nazarene doctrine. If you represent biblical history and a biblical people and the 12 tribes, or even if you're a Gentile that claim you believe in the teachings of Messiah. You understand? In order to represent that doctrine properly, you got to be trained up properly. And guess what? Nobody in the church, because guess what? The Pope is Peter's successor, not James, according to them, if you want to believe that. You know what I mean? Like they swept James out of history for the most part. Right after James, it was Yahshua's other brother, Simon. Right after Simon, it was Yahshua's other brother, Judah or Jude. We dealing Jude right before Revelations. That's Yahshua's little brother. Y'all, we dealing with a caliphate. We dealing with the right to rule because of bloodline. That's what we dealing with here. You see that? Now, come on, Hebrew, where we at?
And this I know, not as being a prophet, but as already seeing the beginning of this very evil. For some from among the Gentiles have rejected my legal preaching, attaching themselves to certain lawless and trifling preaching of the man who is my enemy.
Do you hear this? He's saying there are those among the Gentiles who have rejected what he preaches. My lawful preaching. And they have attached themselves to a certain lawless and trifling preaching of the man who is my enemy. Who was out there among the Gentiles teaching about Messiah, misrepresenting the disciples.
Lawless, soulless.
Wow, lawless, soulless. Dang. Look at this. Wow. Peter said, I got an enemy out there misrepresenting my teaching, got the Gentiles and those amongst the Gentiles attaching themselves to this trifling and lawless preacher. That shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Paul definitely ain't down with the laws at all. I mean, in some places he is, but in a lot of places he is not. In Galatians 4, Paul compares the Torah to paganism. Like, man, what is wrong with this dude? But in other places he said, I believe everything written in the law and the prophets.
He all over the place.
All right, come on, Doc, let's get it.
Where we at? Oh, okay. And these things some have attempted while I am still alive, and to transform my words by certain various interpretations in order to the dissolution of the law, as though I also myself were of such a mind, but did not freely proclaim it, which Yah forbid.
Which the Most High forbid. See that? He like, man, whatever they talking, they lying on me. You understand? And we read in Galatians that
Paul was a liar. You already seen Paul was lying. Your man's a liar, for real. Your man's a backbiter. Your man's like, he vicious.
Yeah. Yeah, he's serious cat, man. Like, hey, watch out. Watch out.
Cursing brothers. Terrible. For such a thing were to act in opposition to the law of Yah, which was spoken by Moses and was borne witness to by our master in respect of its eternal continuance. For thus he spoke, the heavens and the earth shall pass away, but one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. And this he has said that all things might come to pass. But these men, professing, I know not how, to know my mind, undertake to explain my words, which they have heard of me more intelligently than I spoke them, telling their catchmen that this is my meaning, which indeed I never thought of. But if while I am still alive, they dare thus to misrepresent me, how much more will those who shall come after me dare to do so?
Peter letting it be known, like my words are being twisted. People are claiming that I said certain things and speaking them more intelligently than I who spoke them. This cat trifling, he's my enemy, he's lawless. This truth gonna be ripped into many opinions if we don't put together or produce a vetting system. See that? Straight up. And that's wild because we go read Paul's own letters and clearly he got a problem with Peter. Clearly he has a problem with James. Clearly he got a problem with the disciples. Clearly he cursing those brothers.
Yeah.
Clearly he got a problem with the directive James gave about abstaining from meats offered to idols. Because he go and say, eat whatever is sold in the meat market and don't even ask no questions.
Yeah. What?
He's directly against these brothers. He's the one teaching a different gospel. Yeah. So when the brothers come clean him up and bump into the assemblies that where he been teaching at, he got to defend his gospel or he going to lose his power and control over the people. So now he say, look, they cursed. I didn't learn this from them. I learned this from Christ directly. Oh, wait. Watch this. Initiation. Yeah.
Initiation.
If you want to teach in the Nazarene way, there's initiation that has to go forth. This is what they were establishing. All right. Oh, wait. You got something you want to say, brother?
Nah, I was about to start reading, bro.
Okay, come on. Let's get it.
Therefore, that no such thing may happen, for this end I have prayed and besought you not to communicate the books of my preaching, which I have sent to you to anyone, whether of our own nation or of another nation, before trial. But if anyone, having been tested, has been found worthy, then to hand them over to him, according to the initiation of Moses, by which he delivered his books to the 70 who succeeded to his chair, in order that thus they may keep the faith and everywhere deliver the rule of truth, explaining all things after our tradition, lest being themselves dragged down by ignorance, being drawn into error by conjectures after their mind, they bring others into the like pit of destruction. Now, the things that seem good to me, I have fairly pointed out to you, and what seems good to you, do you, my master, becomingly perform. Farewell.
Hey, Peter just called James his master again. Again.
Told him to do you. Whatever seems good to you, do you, my master.
You dig? So he got to be an initiation, man. It has to be. And this hasn't been kept. This order of initiation, y'all, has not been kept since the fall of Jerusalem. See that? We should feel honored to be in the time and the place we are. You mean to tell me 2,000 years later, this vibration, this spirit is back in the earth?
Hallelujah.
All praise, man. That's an honor to be a part of that. It's an honor to be against everybody. And you know you right.
Glorious.
That's glorious, bro. That's glorious. We need to be thanking the Most High for that, man. You dig? This almost ain't even get put. This almost ain't even come out.
And it was an agenda against this. A major downplaying against James and the Nazarene movement. The movement of Yahushua or Yahushua or Yahshua. We getting it there? You ready?
Yeah, brother. Let's get it.
An adjuration concerning the receivers of the book. Therefore, James, having read the epistle, sent for the elders, and having read it to them, said, our Peter has strictly and becomingly charged us concerning the establishing of the truth, that we should not communicate the books of his preachings, which have been sent to us, to anyone at random, but to one who is good and religious and who wishes to teach and who is circumcised and faithful.
See, now look at that right there. So eventually, even though in Acts 15, he was like, don't trouble them. Eventually, guess what? Going through the initiation, eventually you get circumcised. And this is for those who want to teach. I always remember that. This is for those who want to teach. If you wishes to teach, circumcising them, going through initiation, eventually you will get circumcised. You know what I mean? And you even see that dealing with Paul. Eventually he had to circumcise Timothy. Had to. Now watch this. Go ahead.
And these are not all to be committed to him at once. That in, what is that? That duck in the way. What is that? In or if? Little string, y'all.
I mean, once that if he be found, that if he be found.
That if he be found injudicious in the first, the others may not be entrusted to him.
Yeah, no doubt. One cat say, this is what Islam get it from the Nazarenes. You'll see a lot of similarities. A lot of it, you dig? But dealing with Islam, y'all need to get more into Jibril and understand how Gabriel started Islam. It'll blow your mind. Blow your mind. Gabriel fronting as the God. But it's all good. Let's get it.
Wherefore, let him be proved not less than 6 years. And then, according to the initiation of Moses, he that is to deliver the books should bring him to a river or a fountain, which is living water, where the regeneration of the righteous takes place, and should make him not swear, for that is not lawful, but to stand by the water and adjure, as we ourselves, when we were regenerated, were made to do, for the sake of not sinning.
Yeah, so he like, look, you understand? You got to go through this whole initiation right now. If you get to step 1 and step 2, or stage 1 and stage 2, but you can't pass stage 2, there's no need for them to lay on you stage 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on down. That's why he say don't lay it all on them at once. You see that? Yeah. And then after that,
then it was
you
a
got to go
6
through
to
this
7
trial.
year process.
Yeah. No, yeah. Speak on it, brother.
No, I'm just saying it's just a 6 or 7 year process, so it wasn't nothing light. You know what I'm saying? This was some serious teaching and traditions being handed and passed down and taught. Like, that's it.
Yeah. This is 6 years. This ain't no 90-day probationary period on your job.
Nah.
You know what I mean? No, it is not.
So let them be proved not less than 6 years.
No less than 6 years. You did. Go ahead.
All right. Verse 2. And let him say, I take witness heaven, earth, water, in which all things are comprehended, and in addition to all these, that air also which pervades all things, and without which I cannot breathe, that I shall always be obedient to him who gives me the books of the preachings. And those same books which he may give me, I shall not communicate to anyone in any way, either by writing them or giving them in writing, or giving them to a writer, either myself or by another.
Hold
or
on right
through
there.
anyone.
Hold on right there. They're not swearing, but they, standing on it. You dig? And knows what he's saying. Knows what I shall not communicate to anyone in any way, either by writing them or giving them in writing, or giving them to a writer, either myself or by another, or through any other initiation or trick or method. Look at this. And guess what he said? That he was going to be obedient to him who gives me the books of the preachings. If Paul went through this, he would have been obedient to James the whole time. Didn't James give him letters of recommendation? Didn't he say, hey, teach to abstain from meats offered to idols, fornication, things strangled in blood? Didn't he say that? He gave that to him in writing. Huh? I shall always be obedient to him who gives me the books of the preachings. James gave Paul instructions on preaching. Did he obey? No, he did not. You dig? And guess what? You couldn't just carelessly and helplessly reproduce this doctrine and understanding. You had to know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. They go all the way back to James and, you understand, Peter and all them. That's how this thing was supposed to go. Hand it down. Ooh-wee. All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to start it. I shall not communicate.
Okay.
I shall not communicate to anyone in any way, either by writing them or giving them in writing or giving them to a writer, either myself or by another, or through any other initiation or trick or method, or by keeping them carelessly or placing them before anyone or granting him permission to see them, or in any way or manner whatsoever communicating them to another, unless I shall ascertain one to be worthy, as I myself have been judged, or even more so, and after that, after a probation of not less than 6 years, but to one who is religious and good, chosen to teach, as I have received them, so I will commit them, doing these things also according to the will of my bishop. But otherwise, you want to bang on it? You want to say Selah? Selah?
Who's the bishop? Who's the bishop over the Messiah's movement? It would have to be James the Just.
James
his
the
biological brother. Oh, y'all see this? Go ahead.
But otherwise, though he were my son or brother or friend, or otherwise in any way pertaining to me by kindred, if he be unworthy, that I will not vouchsafe the favor to him as is not meet. And I shall neither be terrified by plot nor mollified by gifts. But if even it should ever seem to me that the books of the preachings given to me are not true, I shall not so communicate them, but shall give them back. And when I go abroad,
y'all heard that? So that means after you take this oath or whatever, you dig, and bind yourself to this Nazarene understanding as a teacher. He said, if you realize that what you're doing is not true, you're supposed to get all that understanding back. Like the books and everything that you're reading, the literature, get it back. Don't be running around getting on Facebook or Instagram and broadcasting it. Nah. He say, look, this in the vow. If you stop believing in what we talking about, just give us our stuff back. You know what I mean? In your adjudication, just give it back. All right, go ahead.
And when I go abroad, I shall carry them with, what's that duck head right there again?
Oh, okay. When I go abroad, I should carry them with me.
Okay, with me, whatever of them I happen to possess.
So
But
in
if
other
I be
words,
not,
so about this. In other words, wherever you travel, you taking the literature that you got from your bishop or the one who initiated you. You understand? Wherever you travel, the doctrine is with you. You can't reproduce it.
I ain't going back up. It was not to be like carelessly left around.
Yeah.
You had to keep that thing with you.
That's how precious the teaching was, Hebrew, and is.
Okay.
That's how precious it is. Yeah, they was treating the understanding of Yahshua very precious, man. They guard this with your life. All right, go ahead, Al.
But if I be not minded to carry them about with me, I shall not suffer them to be in my house, but shall deposit them with my bishop, having the same faith and setting out from the same persons as myself. But if it befall me to be sick and in expectation of death, and if I be childless, I shall act in the same manner. But if I die having a son who is not worthy or not yet capable, I shall act in the same manner. For I shall deposit them with my bishop, in order that if my son, when he grows up, be worthy of the trust, he may give them to him as his father's bequest, according to the terms of this engagement. And that I shall thus do, I again call to witness heaven, earth, water, in which all things are enveloped, and in addition to all these, the all-pervading air, without which I cannot breathe, that I shall always be obedient to him that giveth me these books of the preachings, and shall observe in all things as I have engaged, or even something more. To me, therefore, keeping this covenant, there shall be a part with the holy ones. But to me, doing anything contrary to what I have covenanted, may the universe be hostile to me.
Whoa,
and the all.
Wow, this is the oath you taking. You dig? May the universe be hostile toward you. See, and this right here ensures that whoever sets out on the endeavor to teach this Nazarene thing, that you take it serious, man.
Yeah.
You did. No, I haven't been through any of this initiation. We just did a whole bunch of studying. They're all I know Nazarene elders who have been around 6-7 years. They go all the way back to the brothers in 2,000 years ago. So no, me myself, I haven't been through any type of initiation or teaching. No, I don't take nobody through no initiation or teaching. I'm just simply here showing you that there's a difference between the movement Yahshua left, and as was dictated and stipulated by his brother on down, than what you have today through Paul. Total difference. Total difference. All right, go ahead. All
right, may the universe be hostile to me, and the all-pervading ether, and the God who is over all, to whom none is superior, than whom none is greater. But if even I should come to the acknowledgement of another God, I now swear by him also, be he or be he not, that I shall not do otherwise. And in addition to all these things, if I shall lie, I shall be accursed, living and dying. Woo!
Oh!
And yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Did he use the same word Paul used in Galatians?
Yeah.
If I shall lie, I shall be accursed, living and dying. Wow. Ooh. Your boy was definitely lying too.
Ooh. And shall be punished with everlasting punishment. That means you really had to take this thing serious.
Yeah, bro.
For real.
Man, you can't play with this.
Man.
Go ahead.
And after this, let him partake of bread and salt with him who commits them to him.
See, so then you break bread. So remember in Galatians, according to Paul, it was a beef over table fellowship, right? So if Paul was right, that would have meant Peter was eating with Gentiles before their initiation. Huh? If Paul was right about Galatians, the 2nd chapter, how he withstood Peter to his face. Remember, he called Peter, he said, you live like a heathen. You don't even live like a brewer. You live like a heathen, according to him, right? But if it is true, then Peter is guilty of breaking bread with the Gentiles or anyone else who has not properly been initiated into this Nazarene way. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Then you got to break bread, right? Okay, chapter 5. We almost done, y'all. Close it out.
The adjuration accepted. James, having thus spoken, the elders were in an agony of terror. Therefore, James, perceiving that they were greatly afraid, said, "Hear me, brethren and fellow servants. If we should give the books to all the indiscriminately, and they should be corrupted by any daring men, or be perverted by interpretations, as you have heard that some have already done, it will remain even for those who really seek the truth, always to wander in error."
See that? See that? James, like, look, we got to put it down like this because the future gonna wander in error if we don't put it down like this. Look how prophetic that is, man.
Yeah.
We knew nothing about this. Go ahead, YAHKI.
No, I was just saying, look at his name. As far as that prophecy right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we was at? I done lost my place.
Okay, where you at?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Wander
looking for.
in error. Wherefore?
Oh, wander in error. Wherefore, it is better that they should be with us, and that we should communicate them with all the forementioned care to those who wish to live piously, and to save others. But if anyone, after taking this adjuration, shall act otherwise, he shall with good reason incur eternal punishment. For why should not he who is the cause of the destruction of others not be destroyed himself? The elders, therefore, being pleased with the sentiments of James, exclaimed, "Blessed be he who, as foreseeing all things, has graciously appointed thee as our bishop." And when they had said this, we all rose up and prayed to the Father and the God of all, to whom be glory forever. Amen.
Oh, we boy. Oh, we, bruh. Yeah. I think right there is enough for the day, man. I got one more thing I want to show y'all. It's like a few quick, it's a few quick verses. We're going to go into the Gospel of Thomas. We're going to end it here.
Oh, we're
going to go into the Gospel of Thomas, man. I hope brothers, with shelf game long enough, bro. I'm going to keep it solid with you. You understand? Okay. If y'all get some understanding so far, from the first century, we getting this understanding. When you get some understanding so far, y'all give us some threes up in the chat. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. I'm about to pull up this Gospel of Thomas because Thomas actually asked, and that's part of the NehemiYAH. They got the NehemiYAH Gospel of Thomas.
Yeah, I'm about to say the Clementine homilies.
Yeah,
in there too.
Yeah, exactly. So he asked the Messiah, "We know you about to leave us, so who our leader?" And all of them was together. Everybody was together. Who our leader? The answer is about to be very, very interesting. All right, look at David Mazone. Woo! Yeah, bro. Hey, it's on fire up in this deal today, baby. You already know. You did. All praise to the Most High, man. Believe that, know that.
Hallelujah.
Right? It's all praise to the Creator, the Most High. You dig? It's an honor, man. Real talk. I was thinking about that. Like, look, this thing almost got silenced.
Yeah,
and I salute all the brothers and sisters that was teaching the Nazarene the same way even before us. You understand?
Yeah.
But
man, I mean, like,
go ahead.
Going forward, like I want to get into the whole downplaying and the agenda against the brothers, so that everybody can see.
Yeah. That's what we doing.
Because it truly.
Yeah, we slowly laying our case. We building our case, brother.
Yeah,
you already know. All right, let me find this real quick thing. There, go right here. Let's pull this up. I think y'all like this. is right. The Gospel of Thomas and the Secret Teaching of Yahshua the Nazarene. Oh, wait. I got another one right here. Oh, no, that's a video I did. Okay, I'm gonna say different. Okay, I got it right here. Open up. That's word. It ain't nothing but little information. Ain't nothing but a little sword sharpening, right?
Proverbs 27:17, right? Hold on, it's loading up right now. I want to pull this. I want y'all to see this. See, we thoroughly making our case over here. This is all praise to the Most High, man. Believe that. Hallelujah.
Right, the church did call the Gospel of Thomas pseudo, didn't it? Well, yeah, whatever don't line up with the agenda in Rome, you know how they get down, man. That's how they get out. There you go. I'm gonna say why this ain't pulling up. Here we go. There you go. Let me go back here. All right. Wow, okay. Share screen. Yeah, we got a Nazarene podcast about to kick off too, man. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Coming in August. I got some footage. A couple of brothers filmed me the other day when I came to the studio. I was over there dropping some jewels. They was like, Maui, you mind if we record you? I'm like, not at all. Let's go ahead and rock.
I seen you looking real dapper, baby.
Yeah. So we got that coming, man. It's about to be very, very powerful. They're about to go ahead and load up a whole bunch of sessions, pre-record them, and just start playing them. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
All right. Let me share the screen real quick. So that's coming in August 2022. We getting all the filming together right now. All right. Drop that down. Love to have my brother, the DC Sniper, on. You already know.
Man, it's an honor and a pleasure to be on here with you. Just doing a little work here, bro. All praises.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see something. Go right to it. Boy, stop all that crying. Let me see. Okay, here we go. All right, verse 12.
The disciples said to Yahshua, we know that you will depart from us. Who is to be our leader? Yahshua said to them, wherever you are to go to James the righteous. Slide it over some or back it up some. Okay. For whose sake heaven and earth came into being.
Oh, wait.
One more time. The disciples said to Yahshua, we know that you will depart from us. Who is to be our leader? Yahshua said to them, wherever you are to go to James the righteous, for whose sake heaven and earth came into being.
Wow. That's the Gospel of Thomas, y'all, verse 12.
And that's what Yahshua said.
That's the gospel. Let me go up to the top. Yahshua himself said it. Go look for my brother. For whose sake heaven and earth came into being. It only makes sense
because that's his brother. Come on.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you get into the gospel of the Nazarenes, you're gonna see like James was just rolling with them. Like, I mean, and they traveling. You know what I'm saying? They going to Egypt to learn and India and going, man, they traveling and getting it in. So it only makes sense that his brother gonna have everything locked down.
Absolutely. Make all the sense in the world. You're dealing with a caliphate, y'all. You're dealing with blood relatives. The right to rule through bloodline.
Hey, so I never seen or got into the Holy Grail, right? Wasn't that supposed to be about a bloodline?
Yeah.
Then them heathens try to say they was part of that bloodline or what?
Yeah, that's what they were trying to say. Messiah Mary Magdalene had a child, had a daughter. She had her in Spain, running from persecution, and then that daughter gave birth to the Merovingian kings of Europe. You know what I mean? That's how that go. You know what I mean? That's the Da Vinci Code. Damn, bro, I read that back before I was even a brood. Like, dang, that did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, y'all,
I like Dan Brown though.
Yeah. But look, man, we cooking. You know what I mean? We cooking and we slowly bringing out exactly what it is we've been looking at. You understand? We went over a lot of stuff last year. We coming out this year and just slowing down and applying it and dropping it. You know what I mean? Establishing what it is. All right. We went into the Bible. For those that don't think we in the Bible anymore, went into the Bible and proved our point. We examined Paul's letters. According to Paul himself, he the one that got the problem with the brothers. Right? Then we went into Peter's letter to James and showed the doctrine of reserve, man. This is how you reserve this, because I got an enemy out here. There's a trifling, lawless preacher pretending to say or saying things that I never spoke of myself. So unless we do this, who he called my master James, our truth gonna be torn to many opinions. We gotta reserve the doctrine. We gotta have a vetting system. If they want to teach, they gotta go through a trial for no less than 6 years. Huh? This thing is serious. So, but to me, bro, it's an honor to even like to witness or to be a part of that vibration coming back into this earth. Like, hey, you understand? Y'all thought this was put out. Rome almost won. Y'all thought it was dead. Most I put it on this service. Let's rock.
And the more I study and we come across, I'm going to bang it till they know it and they hear it.
Yeah. They be all right, man. Any last words you got for us, brother?
Keep the commandments of the Most High. Keep the laws of Yahshua. Do we need to read them again? The ancient Melchizedek laws.
If you want to, look, I want to show too real quick. 2 Peter. Look, 1800 years ago, they was arguing that 2 Peter was not written by Peter. 2 Peter 3 and 15, a lot of brothers go to and say, look, Peter was bigging up Paul. Nah, y'all, it's been a hot topic for 1800 years if Peter really wrote 2 Peter. I'm gonna show you. Let me show that real quick. That's where the only place anybody go to say it was all.
It's a lot of phantom writers. It's a lot of phantom writers when you're dealing with these scripts. Me and my brother Tillman and Judah, we were just talking about that this morning. I think that was this morning, or even yesterday.
Straight up, bro. All right. So what we gonna go to first to show y'all what this is. This the Nicene and post-Nicene fathers. That's what you're dealing with right here. All right, so let me show y'all. All right, this right here is Jerome and Gennadius. So you're dealing with the 4th century with these cats right here. Jerome to this day is very, very famous. He the one that translated, that put out the Latin Vulgate and all that. He lived during the Nicene era. It says right here that the work of Jerome was written at Bethlehem in 492. It contains 135 writers from Peter up to that date. I see that. In his preface, Jerome limits the scope of his work to those who have written on Holy Scriptures. But in carrying out his plans, he includes all who have written on theological topics, whether Orthodox or heretic, Greek, Latin, Syriac, and even Jews and heathen. Look at this, Jews and heathen. Look who he put down. Jews and heathen, parentheses, Josephus, Philo, and Seneca. Syriac writers mention, or however few. Gennadius apologizes for the scanty representation which they have in Jerome on the ground that the latter did not understand Syriac. I only knew of such as had been translated. Y'all can get that when y'all get a chance. Excellent book. All right, now let me show y'all. So they was writing about all the famous men in the scriptures. You know what I mean? Peter, James, and all that. So we're going to get down to them and show y'all. All right, let me show y'all about Peter. And right next to Peter, they speaking on James. Jerome is. All right. We're talking about 492. Load it up. Okay. So y'all, what we mean. So Jerome lived in the 300s, y'all. That's 1,700 years ago. 1,600 years ago. All right. So you mean to tell me it was known 16 to 1,700 years ago that Peter did not write 2 Peter? You see that?
1,600 years ago.
1,600 years ago. So now so for anybody that goes to 2 Peter 3 and 15 and say Peter was shouting out Paul, hey y'all, We late to the party. We didn't receive the memo. Church fathers were arguing if Peter wrote that or not. Nobody believed it. Wow. Chapter 1, Simon Peter, the son of John from the village of Bethsaida. Hold on. All right. From the village of Bethsaida in the province of Galilee, brother of Andrew, the apostle, and himself chief of the apostles, after having been bishop of the church of Antioch, and having preached to the dispersion, the believers in circumcision, in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, pushed on to Rome in the 2nd year of Claudius to overthrow Simon Magus. You know anything about the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles? Simon Magus is Peter's arch nemesis. Simon Magus, when you look it up, depending on where you look it up, aka is Paul. Simon Magus is Paul when you look it up. It just depends on which source you look it up. But most people identify Simon Magus as Paul of Tarsus. Wait, bro, say I wanted you not to forget about 2 Peter. Absolutely. Now watch this. It says right here. It says, and held the sacerdotal chair there for 25 years until the last, that is the 14th year of Nero. At his hands he received a crown of martyrdom, being nailed to the cross with his head toward the ground and his feet raised on high, asserting that he was unworthy to be crucified in the same manner as his master. He wrote two letters. Which are called Catholic or universal. The second of which, on account of its difference from the first in style, is considered by many not to be by him. The second on which, on account of its difference from the first in style, the scholars know the writing style for 1 Peter and 2 Peter is totally different. Authors have writing styles. Composers of literature have writing styles. Y'all, Jerome was saying this 1600 years ago. 2 Peter is considered by many not to be by him because the writing style is different. If y'all see that, give me a 2 up in the chat. Bless up. What you think, DC Sniper? Talk to me.
Man, bro, I ain't got nothing to say. It's right there. For real, it's right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Now watch this.
It is what it is. We just gonna go through this history, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Kendra said, wow. I seen your comment too, Kendra. Blessings to you. The comment you left on the last video. Wow. So watch this. Read again. He wrote 2 epistles which are called Catholic. The second of which, on account of its difference from the first in style, is considered by many not to be by him. Then to the gospel according to Mark, who was his disciple and interpreter. So Mark was Peter's disciple and his interpreter, according to this, is ascribed to him. Hold on. Then to the gospel according to Mark, who was his or Peter's disciple and interpreter, is ascribed to him. Ascribed to who? They saying that Peter wrote even the gospel of Mark. On the other hand, now watch this. On the other hand, the books of which one is entitled, his who? His Acts. That's the Nazarene Acts. Y'all, we've been reading out of it.
Yeah.
Another, his gospel. A third, his preaching. A fourth, his revelation. A fifth, his judgment. Some of these in the Nag Hammadi too are rejected as apocryphal. Jerome letting it be known all of Peter's stuff ain't even in the Bible. In 2 Peter, we don't even believe he wrote that. Most of what Peter wrote is rejected by Orthodox Christianity.
Of course it is.
That's what Jerome is saying 1600 years ago about Peter. Bless up. You see that? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
My zone says, I've always heard this and was taught it as a novice over 20 years ago, but I had no idea where they got this historical fact about the death of Peter, but then turn around and leave it out of the Bible and call it pseudo. No doubt. He said, brother, I have a lot of work to do studying.
Yeah, man. Man, it was vicious again, man. It's been 21 councils of heathens from 325 AD all the way to 1965 who have had their hands on these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's why, like, it's been an agenda, man. I cannot wait until we get into it, though.
Oh yeah, bro. What's today? Today, okay. We can do another one Friday because I don't think I got a debate to host. We can do another one Friday evening if you want to. Whatever.
Ain't nobody jumping on Friday.
I don't think nobody swinging swords on Friday.
Ain't nobody trying to go against the Creator gang.
You already know, huh? All right. So it says, buried at Rome in the Vatican near the Triumphal Way, he is venerated by the whole world. Chapter 2. James. There he is. James. It's only right that we end with this. James, who was called the brother of the master, surnamed the just, the son of Joseph. Look at what Jerome say. By another wife. Wow. As some think. Knows what he say. As some think. But as appears to me, the son of Mary's sister, of the mother of our Lord, of whom John makes mention in his book after our Lord's passion, at once ordained by the apostles, Bishop of Jerusalem, wrote a single epistle, which is reckoned among the 7 Catholic epistles. And even, y'all keep in mind, he's writing this in 492. And even this is claimed, trip up this, wrote a single epistle, which is reckoned among the 7 Catholic epistles. And even this is claimed by some to have been published by someone else under his name. And gradually, as time went on, to have gained authority. Hegesippus, huh? Hegesippus the Nazarene is 1st century, y'all, for y'all that don't know. That's a 1st century church father. Hegesippus, who lived near the apostolic age. In the 5th book of his commentaries, writing of James, says, after the apostles, James, the brother of the master, surnamed the just, was made head of the church at Jerusalem. Many indeed are called James. This one was holy from his mother's womb. Trip about this. He drank neither wine nor strong drink. Ate no flesh. Ate.
What year was this?
Man, he wrote this in 492.
Oh.
1600 years ago.
And he writing about who?
James, the brother of the Messiah.
Not the leader of the council at Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Oh.
No way. He drank neither wine nor strong drink, ate no flesh, neither shaved or anointed himself with ointment or bathed. I mean, he was taking cold baths, not hot baths and all that. Y'all watch y'all stinking rear end. Don't go crazy.
Yeah.
But you understand that right here in history, look, it was well known even in Jerome time that James is the leader or the bishop of the movement of Messiah and how he got down. And look, this is Hegesippus in the 1st century. Jerome is quoting Hegesippus. By the time Jerome is living, Hegesippus been dead a couple hundred years.
Yeah, he gone.
So Jerome is quoting Hegesippus the Nazarene, who goes back to the 1st century. And it was well known. This brother didn't drink wine, strong drink, ate no flesh. He didn't shave. So that means them brothers had them locks.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Locked and bearded up.
Right. No flesh. So he was the one eating it. So trip about this. No flesh. So he was the one eating the herbs that Paul called weak in faith.
Yeah. And again, that pisses me off, man. Because it take a bunch of discipline, sacrifice to do away with that.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Do away with that.
Okay, now that was this one right here. That was the Nicene and post-Nicene fathers. Let me show y'all that one too. This right here. That was the Nicene and post-Nicene fathers, brother. All right. So Nicene era and right after that. All right. So basically, y'all, 3rd century on in. All right. But 1st and 2nd century, we got the anti-Nicene fathers. Volume 1. So we got the Nicene era and before the Nicene era. You dig? Mentioning the Nazarene sect, mentioning James, mentioning Peter, mentioning how we got down, how we moved. And even in this one, it verbatim quotes out the gospel of the Nazarene. The cat Papias. Another 1st century. Matter of fact, Papias wrote in the 1st century, but he died in the 2nd century. He was born around the fall of Jerusalem. You understand? Yep. So yeah, you got the Nicene and post-Nicene history, but also getting to the anti-Nicene or before the Nicene era. Getting to that history, man. Getting all that. You know what I mean? It's valuable information. Look at the church or the church historians is going over in her. See that? Clement of Rome, Mathathes, Polycarp, Ignatius, Irenaeus, Pius, Justin Martyr. You see that? That's 1st, 2nd. These are 1st and 2nd century, quote unquote, church historians and church fathers. All right. And then this other one is 3rd century on in. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Y'all get these books too, man. You did? I ask can only go over so much. But maybe look, maybe you as a jaw jacker may find something we ain't find. You did? But one thing you can't do is deny what we bringing out. We bringing that out right to your door.
Right.
You did? We got another one. That's another one I want to go over with y'all eventually. We just gonna go over it chapters at a time. Powerful. Well, this make you spill your coffee. Where that deal at? I know I got it up here. Yeah, bag drop. Watch this. Man, this is gonna hurt some feelings here, boy. Good night. Yeah. Operation Messiah, St. Paul, Roman intelligence, and the birth of Christianity. Roman intelligence. Yeah. Y'all really knew what was going on with Rome. You did. And what they did, all they did was what J. Edgar Hoover did with the Black Panthers. COINTELPRO. And guess who their main agent was? Good night. Someone who was directly a part of the Herodians. Called them his kinsmen. Well, the Herodians are part of Caesar's court. Mm-hmm. The Herodians are Caesar's tax collectors. That's why Paul can write to Epaphroditus, and Epaphroditus just so happened to be Nero's secretary. Huh? Man, look. I just want to tell y'all, this is what you do. If you really want to know what's going on, read Josephus' work, War of the Jews, at the same time read the New Testament. It'll blow your mind what's going on. Dang. History tells a different thing than the literature. You dig? So all praise to the Most High. Right on for coming on, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and do the I'm gonna go ahead and do the Hebrew prayer, the Aaronic blessing. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And we gonna go ahead and close.
Let's get it.
Who was Saul's kinfolk? Herod and them, boy. I got
Edomite.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it would make sense that he would be against James. Because James blood related.
Yeah.
Simon Bar and them blood related. Like you know what I mean? Shit, Jude, the brother of James, blood related. Them brothers blood related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And one thing Paul knew how to do was incite riots and raise up tumults and and get inside, like you said, COINTELPRO, man.
Yeah.
It get heavy, man.
Yeah, it really is, man. It really is. But it's it's liberating to me though, man, because I'll be like, I knew I always felt like this for a reason, man. I knew something was off. You dig? So we about to do the ironic blessing. You find that in Numbers the 6th chapter. I'm gonna do it in Hebrew though, then we're gonna read it in English. It did very, very powerful prayer. It has many healing properties to it as well. All right. Yeah. I've actually seen this work in person. You understand? Matter of fact, dealing with my mother. You dig? So yeah, all things are possible in faith. Believe that, y'all. You understand? There ain't nothing the Most High can't do and won't do.
Facts.
You understand? Nothing. All right, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. If y'all know how we get down. Let's go ahead and face Yahshua. You did offer up these prayers. We're gonna do the ironic blessing, and then you understand? Read in English, and then we're gonna get on up out of here. All praise to the Most High. Fat peas. I got you out. I got you out. All praises. All right, so we coming out of Numbers 6th chapter, y'all. This is known as the ironic blessing. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Humble yourselves, humble your minds. Let's ask the Most High to, you understand, keep his ministering angels around us at all times, man. You dig? Everywhere. And there's millions and millions of unclean spirits out there. Millions.
Hey, and they about to open up the I think July 5th. They doing something.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Particle accelerators and everything, man.
You know the activity about to ramp up.
Man, you already know. All right, y'all, let's get it. Yabarika Yahuwah Veish Merika Yahweh Pana Elika Vikuneka Yahweh Pana Elika Veyasem Lakashalom Veyasem Lakashalom Yabarika Yahweh Veish Merika Yahweh Pana Elika Vikuneka Yahweh Pana Elika Veyasem Lakashalom Veyasem Lakashalom. Amen. All praises in English. The Most High bless you and keep you. The Most High make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Most High lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. He will guide you and he will protect you in peace, righteousness, and holiness. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, all praises. Y'all, that's number 6. You can read in English or in Hebrew. It don't even matter. Over your loved ones, over your house. That deal right there is active. That's one of them active prayers right there. I'm trying to tell you. Stuff get to moving for you on your behalf. All things done in full faith. All praise and glory now to the Most High. Love all y'all brothers and sisters indeed in the truth. All right. If I ain't got a host, no sword swinging on so-called Friday, me and the DC sniper gonna get back on here, Most High willing, and keep going. We gonna keep going, man. We got so much information. We gonna slow down and pour it on.
Yes, sir.
So thank the Most High, man. I thank the Most High for all y'all. Thank y'all for y'all prayers. Thank y'all for support. You understand? And focus. You understand? Focus, man. The Most High really wants to do something major for us, and he is. He gonna do that, but we gotta stand on it. Even if we find out what we doing ain't all the way what we supposed to be doing, shouldn't we be trying our best to be that perfect? Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's the command. You know what I mean? That's what we're shooting for. So until the next time, look, love all y'all brothers and sisters in deed and in truth. Y'all share this with all y'all family members. Share it with the haters, jaw jackets, and naysayers. And let them know, man, we always down to have a conversation. We always down to have a conversation. For any brothers that's speaking against us right now, look, I love y'all, and y'all know that. You know what I mean? Love y'all. And you need me right now, I'm coming. Believe that. You did.
And look, just because brothers swing swords don't mean we ain't charged to love each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We should be able to swing swords and bring out information for the edification of the people. You know what I'm saying? Without us feeling no type of way. Like, that's crazy.
That's right.
That's
because
crazy.
Ain't none of this our information. The Nazarene information don't belong to Malaki Maccabee or YAHKI Mac. The Bible don't belong to none of it. You know what I'm saying? The truth has its origin and foundation in the heavens. That's just what it is, man. You dig? So all we doing is going back over or searching out or researching what they already searched out. That's it.
Man.
That's it, man. You dig? So love all y'all. I just get frustrated with brothers sometimes when I see them not standing on it as men. That's it, man. You dig? Now we ain't got to deal with each other like a scorned girlfriend that just got broke up with, bro. We can deal like men and still love each other and we may disagree. That's what's up. Ain't nobody talking about laying aside doctrine at all. No, we gonna swing swords. You dig? But if any of you brothers who fancy yourself as my enemy right now, if you needed me right now, I'm coming for you. Believe that, because I'm commanded to love you regardless.
Right.
You understand? But look, don't talk like you about all that, because look, I'm gonna call you to the floor. You know, that's just me. I'm Malaki Maccabee. That's just me. I don't know no other way but to go. I'm gonna crack the streets with the flow. That's just what it is. You did. But make no mistake, never mistake my passion or my fire or my boldness for hatred, because it's not. I don't hate none of the brothers, none of the sisters, none. We may see things different. That's all right, man. You dig? I'm still your brother. I'm commanded to love you. I'm gonna love you, even if you don't want me to. I'm gonna pray for you, even if you don't want me to. You dig? So to the end, my friends, believe that, know that. You dig? Tap in, bless up, but more importantly, clip up. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh.